All right, ladies and gents, back at it again. No name in the building. A little past the day. You know, we usually go live on Sundays, but yesterday was Father's Day.
We late as hell.
Some people had to work, had to do some other things, so we rescheduled for the pod just for today.
Blame Mo.
We pushed the day back just for you all, for the people who got kids and all that stuff. But we back in the building. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit of AEW, some WWE. Some pros and cons, depending on where these conversations go. I'm not really sure where they're going to go, to be honest, if I'm being quite honest. But we have two guests today. I'll let them introduce themselves. You guys can plug in your pods or your social medias, whatever you want people to check out. Ryan, you've been on the show before, so I'll let you go first, and then Cam, go after.
What up, guys? Ryan from the North-South Connection. Check us out on YouTube, all other podcast forums. Nostalgia-based, some modern stuff like that. It's fine. Check it out. What a plug.
What's going on, guys? Cam here. I've been on here before, but you can find me. I've been on here before, but you can find me pretty much every day over on Rated M. Pretty much every day on Rated M, where I'm doing the watch-alongs with Chris. You can also catch me there every Thursday for the Rated M pod. So that's where I'm from. So there y'all go.
Shout out to the people who aren't here. Mo. Again, shout out Mo. He's always
Mo.
Get him out here.
This is the type of time Mo's on today. This is the type of time.
Whoa, where did that come from?
I don't know what Mo was on this day, but I found it in the chat. So that is now our new profile picture.
That must be new. I ain't never seen that. One.
It was in the Instagram group chat. I saw it today, and I was like, "Well,
I must have missed that one.
They sent it a couple hours ago, low key. So I decided to take
it. Before we start, I'm gonna let whenever Nate turns back on his camera. Got to get his thought. He's the Jey Uso. He's the Jey Uso guy. So he wasn't here last time.
Yeah.
Speak on his feelings and thoughts. So I'm gonna let Nate talk about how he really feels about holding the title 51 days. I know he likes Gunther as well, though. So he is a Gunther guy as well.
You see this?
Vacation on him, Nate.
You see this?
He is a Gunther guy, but he also is a Jey.
You see this? This is what the best wrestler in the world wears right now. Jey Uso, I love you. Give it up, bro. You had to give it up. It was only a matter of time. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody has fallen to the ring NRL, okay? Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Damian Priest. Finn Balor's fallen to everybody. But you get the point. Some of the best have fallen to the ring NRL. This belongs to the best. 51 days. Impressive. It's 51 more days than I ever expected you to hold this title.
Oh.
But this belongs to Gunther, okay? It's his belt. He deserves it. He's the greatest wrestler walking this earth right now. Y'all need to appreciate him while he's still going. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. This is his. Love yous, but you had to give it up. Rent was due. He gave you an extension. He gave you an extension on the rent. It's okay. Landlord was like, you know what? I'm going to let you have another month. And you pay rent. Thank you, Oos. It was fun. The dog agrees with me. It was fun. But best wrestler in the world right here.
Nate,
anyway.
I'm confused. Are you more of a Jey guy or are you more of a Gunther guy?
I'm a Gunther guy. Through and through.
Nate, well, ever since what's it called?
Not even before that. I didn't know.
Before that. Okay.
Yeah. Gunther's high on my list. I love Jey.
I don't know if you like Jey or Gunther more. I never know.
I love Gunther, man.
Well,
Gunther is probably he's number one.
Now that I'm realizing that this is our first pod. Well, I'm saying now that I'm realizing this is our first pod since that happened, because not doing it on Sunday is throwing me off. Yeah, 51 days, gang. Damian Priest got to SummerSlam. You know what I mean? He got a couple feuds in there.
Kofi made it to October.
I was like, Kofi made it to he got half a year with that thing. It has some good feuds in it. He had the Kevin Owens. He got good feuds.
What you know about Black?
This nigga feuded with Logan Paul. That was his only feud. Because that one match with Seth, he was the least important part of that match. Because he had the CM Punk, you had the Sami Zayn. Bro.
He looks strong, though. I'll give him that. He looked. I will give him this. They never gave him that like. He wasn't like Sami Zayn talking like an underdog against Chad fucking Gable.
Okay, in that sense, I do get you. But
and he literally told Gunther, "I'm in my place." He was like, "I'm that guy. I'm gonna fight you again, and I'm gonna beat you again," even though he didn't. But
I do like that. But here's the thing. First off, his kid clearly looked uncomfortable being on camera. But when I saw his kid back there, like looking all awkward, I'm like, no way. But I was like, but you know what? Cash in. There's gonna be shenanigans. Old boy passed out. Not one ref bump. Not one Michael Cole distraction. Not a cash in distraction. Like nothing.
No distraction.
And he was in that thing for a minute. And I was like, okay, I guess he's gonna Hulk up again. And then he did, and then got put right back to sleep. I'm like, the cash in is coming, right? Like the money in the bank is coming, right? Like.
Boy said,
I knew that wasn't going to happen based off what we saw in the beginning of the show. That told me everything I needed to know. Like, nah, he's not going to cash in. He's going after the WWE Championship. That's the game.
Well, I don't think he's doing that. I think Cena, which probably has been his best promo to date, I think he was spot on. He was like, yeah, Seth Rollins is not cashing in on me because.
But I think when Cody beats Seth, I think Seth's going to cash in on Cody and take it from Cody.
Look back, get his look back.
Well, yeah, but I don't. I mean, yes, but I think it's going to be a minute. Hey, look. We thought Seth Rollins winning that briefcase was going to be for a failed cash in, and it looks like we might get two long briefcase holders. Like
I think
you can't complain too much.
I got two things. One, Nate, you're wrong because you said the best wrestler in the world wears the World Heavyweight Championship. The best wrestler in the world actually wears the International Championship. And the best wrestler in the world actually wears the International Championship. But yeah, I digress. Secondly, the Money in the Bank. Secondly, the Money in the Bank cash in. Well, I think this is going simple. I can see it clear as day. I think Sammy's winning King of the Ring in Saudi. Sammy goes to SummerSlam. Sammy beats Gunther for the title. Seth cashes in. It's the Daniel Bryan story all over again. Seth wins the Rumble.
Sammy wins the Rumble.
Sammy wins the Rumble in Saudi, and it's Sammy and Seth at Mania.
That's something for me. I gotta see it to believe it type thing. Like I think Sammy is a candidate to win, but I have to see it. I have to see Cody lose first before I definitively say Sami Zayn is going to win the King of the Ring. You know what I mean? Like it's one of the reasons I wasn't mad that they announced Jay in that filler spot because some people wanted it to be Ilya, a surprise, whatever. But I'm like, genuinely though, did it really matter who's in that spot? Because I don't see that person getting past Cody Rhodes in the next round anyway. So it's like, whatever. If Ilya had won, I feel like people would have just been mad he lost to Cody Rhodes in the next round anyway. You know what I mean? If it had been somebody else, I just can't see, unless there's going to be some type of shenanigans we don't know about, unless somebody's going to come out and prevent Cody from winning. I don't know. But until I see Cody Rhodes out of the tournament, I can't see him losing to anybody in this tournament. So I don't really think it mattered that Jay was the last spot. I thought it was kind of obvious, but some people said it was a waste of a spot. But it's like, I don't think it really would have mattered because even whoever that spot would have been would have moved on to the next round. But that's as far as it was going to get right there. That's what it would have would have been the end game right there. So that's just how I personally feel. I would have to see Cody not make it past the second round first. Now, if it gets down to Jay and Sammy, that's interesting. That can go either way, if I'm being honest. That could go different directions.
I'm not gonna lie, and I already have admitted multiple times that I am lower on Sami Zayn than everybody else. That IC title run for me just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm not really with the whole Sami Zayn world title reign. But once I watched SmackDown, right? Because Monday Night Raw, I was like, okay, we think we know what's going on. Once I watched SmackDown, there is absolutely no way in hell they are not running Cody versus Randy at Saudi. I don't believe without a shadow of a doubt that Cody and Randy is the King of the Ring finals in Saudi, because when I look, and once they announced Jey Uso, it kind of became a little more clear. Jey Uso, you just lost the World Heavyweight title. You're not going to beat Cody, right? Sami Zayn, even though they don't put this nigga in wrestling matches unless it's main event, you're literally in a program with a guy that says you're not worthy of winning the world title. You're literally in a program with that guy. And what better way to prove him right than losing to Randy Orton? I'm sorry, Randy Orton. If Sami Zayn beat Randy Orton, bro, all right, cool, y'all got it. I don't believe that with a shadow of a doubt. I don't believe that. at all.
What does Sammy do at that show then if he's not competing? Because Sammy's going to be on the show because they're in Saudi. He's going to be on the show. So what is he doing on the show if he's not?
Hey, what's up, my dog?
Tag match.
What's up, my dog? What's up, my dog? They are feuding with Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman tag match. I promise you that's what it is.
Braun Strowman's crazy.
Right.
Or a 6-man with LA Knight and Seth Rollins.
That's that Braun Strowman.
I was gonna say it's probably a 6-man.
Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman.
The plan is
I
LA Knight
can
is
see
separate.
it man at SummerSlam though. I can see that happening at SummerSlam's 2 nights. I mean,
I think SummerSlam is LA Knight, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I think that's the one-on-one.
I think that's the
The
one.
They're
plan
gonna
is
get the
classic.
6 men out the way.
The plan at Night of Champions is LA Knight is Seth. According to reports, like PW Stage has already said that LA Knight is Seth is the planned match for the show.
Then, hey, what's good, my dog? We're running a tag team match, player. That's literally what they're doing. I don't believe for that a shadow of a doubt. Old boy is winning. Old boy is beating Randy Orton at all.
yeah, I gotta see it first.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'd have to see Cody not in the tournament at this point. That's the only way I can see going far. Cody Rhodes would have to.
I mean, they literally set
But
it
even
up.
though Cody doesn't really have to win the King of the Ring because he already just pinned Cena, so it's like he just should get a title match anyway. But
Right, but that they set it up on SmackDown. Randy Orton and Cody were like, "Look, I'll do whatever I got to do, even if that means I got to get through you." Like they set it up. That the way WWE love booking stuff, they love telling you the finish before they get there.
Like if because whoever wins the tournament gets a title shot on their brand, right? So if Cody and Randy weren't to win, I could see them maybe doing like Cena and Cody and Randy at SummerSlam in a triple threat if they want to run that because they're all kind of gunning for the same purpose of the story. Where like Randy feels like now he has to stop Cena. Cody wants to be the guy to stop Cena. Cena's already beat both, so I could see them, interjecting it in that. Like if they weren't to win the tournament, they could make it a triple threat that way if they're going to do that. So and then
Also,
maybe or Jay go to fight the Gunther. You know what I mean? So.
Also, it's hard for me to believe that WWE would give King and Queen of the Ring to 2 SmackDown people. I think they want to have one person from Raw win it and one person from SmackDown win it. It's hard.
Oh yeah,
I know the brand split don't. I know the brand split don't matter no more. I've been teaming the brand split since fucking last year, so I know it doesn't fucking matter anymore. But I can still see WWE being. But I still see WWE being like, we'll give it to a guy on Raw, we'll give it to a guy on SmackDown. Who
do you see winning the SmackDown Queen of the Ring? Or who do you see winning
Carter.
the Queen of the Ring?
Jay Carter.
See, I think it's gonna be Stephanie.
I was just about to say, I low-key think they running Roxanne and
It's
Stephanie.
gonna be one of those two though.
I low-key think they running Roxanne.
I think Jade Cargill. I think Jade is the obvious one. I think Jade is the obvious one. I think they do.
Naomi's gonna cost her.
I think they do Jade. I think they do Jade and Rock. I think they're doing Jade and Roxanne. Obviously, I think Jade wins that. Looking at the 4-way here tonight. Stephanie, I could see winning. Stephanie, I think will win. Stephanie, I think will win. This entire thing my entire bracket got fucked up because I thought Charlotte was winning. My whole ration was I thought Charlotte was gonna. Let me explain. My whole ration was I thought Charlotte was gonna win the 4-way on Friday. That would leave Asuka to win the 4-way in her return on. Monday. It's a fatal 4-way match. So Stephanie does not have to eat the pin. Asuka can pin either Raquel or Ivy Nile. They do Charlotte and Asuka, Jade and Roxanne in the semifinals. Jade advances, Charlotte advances, and we get Jade and Charlotte, which is a match that they obviously want to do. We get that in the finals with Jade winning. That is the direction I thought they were going. But Alexa fucked up my bracket. So I still think it's Jade winning. I could be wrong, but I still think it's Jade winning. I think Jade wins Queen of the Ring. They do Jade and Tiffany at SummerSlam, and that's where Naomi fucks over Jade Cargill.
It's possible.
Jade and Tiffany's kind of weird. Not gonna lie.
It's a weird matchup.
It is a weird matchup at this time, anyways. It doesn't feel right.
I mean, I'm I guess against it.
At SummerSlam, like SmackDown, okay. SummerSlam,
and
I think they'll work around it. But
and Ryan, to your point, I think Triple H, granted she ain't done nothing since WrestleMania, I think he's salivating at Stephanie versus Io. I think he's salivating at that. I think he like
shiny new toy. Right?
Yeah, like bring me that money. Like I think he's salivating at that personally.
They rolled that out right after WrestleMania too on Raw.
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
in the rematch.
I think that's what I mean. That's what I think. But you also got Evolution before that too, though. So and that could always
I think I think it's more likely the Evolution match.
because they got that.
Either
Shit.
that or Io and Rhea Evolution. But
How did you feel?
Rhea getting her get back.
Put your 2 cents on the Jey Uso. So how did you feel about the 51 days as champion?
I think in the long run, him kind of getting the belt off him early will do him well, right? Like his fans don't have that backlash of rejection. He doesn't have the backlash or rejection, and probably it may, in a way, he kind of earned another shot down the road again. Because I don't think it was a bad 51-day run, right? And I think the plan to go kind of short like this. I was just surprised they went to Gunther right back like that, right? So
Yeah.
I think in the long run, it's probably good for him. So he doesn't have that like stigma of Kofi, right? Like Kofi kind of had a stigma of they kept it on him too long. SmackDown was bad and so on and so forth. Raw didn't dip at all. He had a few pretty good matches out of the run, and his feud, like Jay said, was kind of Logan Paul, but that's whatever, right? He main evented a Saturday Night's Main Event with it. It was the highest rated Saturday Night's Main Event out of the 3 with him on top. So I definitely think there's some high points for him to kind of go full circle again and get the belt down the road as well. But, I don't think that the term was to go a year with Jey Uso, and I think a short term was kind of
torture.
Yeah, short term I think was
I'm
always.
shocked he went. I'm shocked he went a year. I'm shocked he went. I thought they were gonna take the title off him at SummerSlam. I'm shocked Gunther won the title back. What I was thinking was when they had all that planning, what I was thinking was the direction I thought they were gonna go. I thought that match was gonna end in the fuck finish. I did not think that match was gonna clean because I did not see Gunther winning the world title back. So I thought this was gonna be a case where you have like 4 or 5 different guys run into the main event. Like you have Seth come out, obviously. You have Seth come out to fuck shit up. You have Seth, Braun, and Bronson out there to fuck shit up. Punk comes out, Sammy comes out. Like they kind of like help Jay out, and like the matches ends like a big like no contest or something. That's the direction I thought they were going. But I think the direction they are going is I think they're going Goldberg and Gunther at Saturday Night's Main Event, which I do not want. But it's Gunther's last match, so it's Goldberg's last match to retirement. To be honest with you, the way I would do that is simple. To be honest with you, I would do that as simple. I would do Goldberg and Gunther. I'd get it out the way in Saudi. I would just get it out. I just get it out the way in Saudi. Have Goldberg come out. Goldberg wants to start a match, and Gunther laughs. Gunther just laughs. I mean, Gunther's like, you want to title match? Okay. He's like, you want a title match? Okay, sure, I'll give you a title match. Okay, sure, I'll give you a title match. It's a night off for me. You go to the match. Gunther wins that match in like 30 seconds. Gunther squashes Goldberg. Goldberg loses his confidence, and then you build to either Saturday Night's Main Event or SummerSlam. You build to his last match. You do Goldberg and another fucking mid-card heel on the roster. Goldberg can just go through in classic Goldberg fashion.
Yeah, you're booking yourself into a shoot, brother. What are we doing here?
I'm not saying
more Goldberg, bro.
I think
that was gonna be his
world title, to be quite honest with you.
Bro, this man Goldberg injured his fucking knee or something like that. I think he got like 3 different injuries since
training. He had a lot of injuries. He had a lot of injuries when he was.
And he sucks. He already sucked without the injuries. Now you add on like more injuries. Like
this is our Brock Lesnar replacement. That's all that is. It's the Brock Lesnar replacement.
At least Brock Lesnar can wrestle.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you weren't gonna get Brock and they went, Goldberg still gets cheered when he comes out. That's all this is, because it's happening. You'd assume at Night of Champions, yeah, they was definitely gonna give Brock Lesnar that check to go to Saudi. So they're just replacing with Goldberg. It's non-canon to me. It's whatever. If Goldberg, I just saw the comment. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I would go bet everybody's life savings that Goldberg is not winning this match, and I would bet that it's going under 6 minutes. I would literally bet it's going under 6 minutes.
I think it's going 2.
The match I think is going 2 minutes. That is going 2 minutes. That is
a classic
Goldberg 2-minute match. Goldberg can go in there, hit the spear. Gunther gonna kick out of Gunther, kick out of Gunther, kick out of one, and then just beat the fuck out of Goldberg the rest of the match. That match is going 2 minutes.
He gonna get speared and he gonna wake up. Gunther gonna lock in after that spear.
Yeah. That match is going 2 minutes. If that match goes anything longer than 5, I will be
Goldberg
screwed.
probably
Goldberg
gonna tap out.
Yeah, if we're forced to have a Goldberg match, I'm glad it's Gunther. It's that kind of works. That works.
Destroy him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. It's just it is what it is. They want to do it. It's fine. Whatever. I prefer it to be somebody else other than Gunther, but Gunther isn't the worst option, I guess. It can make him look better in the end. So good for
And I
him.
don't believe they gave Gunther the belt for the Goldberg match. I think the Goldberg match was the plan, and then Gunther happened to have the belt through the journey of it, right? So,
well, I think I low-key think they was like, it's Night of Champions, even though there's probably going to be non-title matches on it. We don't want Gunther over there without the title. Like Jey Uso, this was cool. We're done. I wish they would have just let him open challenge every week as opposed to a pointless feud with Logan Paul. The tag match at Saturday Night Main Event was cool, but like I wish it would have just been like every week he was defending it. Like just let him do that. Honestly, it probably would have did better for him, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At least they struck while the iron was hot for Jey Uso. I mean, a lot of people didn't think he was going to even get a world championship, eventually. So they made up for it. They did him justice. He had a nice world championship reign that could have been better, but at least he got the reign, opposed to like, you look at somebody like LA Knight. I don't know what they do with him, bro. Like, he's in a good spot still, but it's like, I don't know, bro. They keep waiting too long, bro. He gonna fall in that problem.
I mean,
Uso kind of took his spot away.
They did the same thing with Jey Uso, though. I feel like they waited too long on Jey Uso. The only difference is
I don't know if they're gonna do the same with LA Knight though. Like, it may not work for him.
Yeah, I feel like with Jey Uso, like he got that little 1 week or 2 week IC title reign. At least LA Knight was a 2-time mid-card champion, because unfortunately Cody he was always gonna hold that 365, right? So
yeah, that was fine. But
it's just I get people wanting LA Knight in that spot. I really, really do, right? And because we got Jey Uso in the spot, anything can happen. But unless they do a draft, I don't see LA Knight winning that Undisputed Championship at all.
Get LA Knight 2 things going. LA Knight needs to go to Raw as soon as possible. LA Knight needs to be on the first flight to Raw as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Please get his ass off SmackDown. Secondly, I don't think they see LA Knight as a main event guy. That's why I don't think LA Knight's winning the title. The only reason I think Jey Uso got the world title is because of how over he is. It's because of how over he is. LA Knight is over. I'm not denying that. I don't think LA Knight is over. I don't think LA Knight is over on the level of Jey Uso, where it made sense to put the title on him, give him like a short run, and then it's like, all right, it's back to business. I don't think they see LA Knight as a main event guy. I think what they see LA Knight as is LA Knight. He's a guy who can be the number 2 babyface on either Raw or SmackDown. He's a guy who can be the number 2 babyface on either Raw or SmackDown. He's super popular, so his crowd reactions he's super popular. The fans see him as a main eventer, but they don't see him as one. So he's somebody that's credible. They can put him in. He's somebody that's credible, and they can plug him in whatever role they need him to plug him in. But in terms of him getting like an actual push, I don't think they see LA Knight in that light at all.
Did they put him against Goldberg?
What?
No.
No, God, no Lord.
We're trying to get Goldberg matches.
Versus anybody. I think the only reason we cool with it being Gunther is because we know Gunther gonna whoop that ass. Everybody else,
Yeah.
The only name I'll be fine with Goldberg wrestling if not Gunther is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker can murder him in like 2 minutes. Braun would be the only other option.
Or Bronson Reed.
I was gonna say he can get
like
tsunami. I was like, he can get tsunami.
Bronson Reed would be kind of fire, actually.
Bronson Reed would be fire. I'd be okay with Bronson Reed. I wouldn't.
You just don't go for that jackhammer. Your knees is cooked.
Hey, so Nate, let me ask you a question. Now that he in this group and we assume, things is gonna come from this, you think Bronson Reed in about a year's time, him versus Gunther in a title match, you wouldn't be excited?
Hell no. I'll be excited, but I don't think it's happening. I don't think.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Bronson Reed be lucky if he get a SummerSlam main event. That nigga not main event. Shit.
He ain't got a main event. I'm just talking about a high profile match. He ain't got to be the main event.
Against Gunther would be good. Do I think it's gonna happen? I don't think so.
I just remember a while ago I said, or a Bronson Reed Gunther world title match, it ain't got to be the main event, but a world title match, I think would be great. And you was like, man, ain't nobody trying to see that shit. So I didn't know if you.
I didn't say that.
That'd be great.
Hey, that was not me. They had a match. They had an IC title match on Raw. I'm fine with it. You just have to choose who the babyface is.
But no. Okay, no, but I don't think you had said maybe ain't nobody trying to see that. But this is right after he was. This is in the midst of him in that feud with Seth Rollins.
I think probably what I said here. Probably what I said here. Like, I mean, he's not a main eventer. I don't see him reaching. I think it's going to happen.
I guess I was just like, when he was in the feud with Seth Rollins, I assumed he was going to win it before he obliterated his leg.
Oh, that's probably because he was probably a heel, and I was like, Gunther's a babyface. Gunther's a heel too. I don't see that.
Oh, fair enough.
That's probably why. But I mean, I like to see. I mean, that match would be great. Give him like 15 minutes, beat the shit out of each other. I'm fine with that. But do I think it's going to happen? I don't see.
We know Braun Breaker is the golden.
Yeah, Braun Breaker's the
Braun Breaker's the guy. So
who's that? I'll tell y'all what the.
I'm gonna ask everybody individually. Everybody gonna have their own individual answer, so everybody can answer individually one by one. Nate already answered, but who does everybody right now think the best wrestler in the world is? Like right now, as we speak, who does?
Oh well, I mean, you're gonna want my answer too.
Now I don't know everybody's criteria, how you view the best wrestler in the world.
That was my question. What's the criteria?
It's your criteria.
It's your criteria.
So whatever you go into, whether because some people care more about in ring, some people care more about promo work and all that type of stuff. So whatever your criteria, like this is what I personally care about. When you look at that, who fits pretty much all of that?
I'll go because what I said earlier was a little hyperbole, and I was talking bell to bell. I just called Gunther the best wrestler in the world. That's my guy. That's my favorite wrestler right now. But y'all saw the group chat yesterday. Y'all saw who we said the best wrestler in the world is right now. As far as total package go, we're including everything. We're not just talking about in-ring bell to bell. We're talking about promos, character work, storytelling. Hangman Adam Page. Right now, I can't name anybody. Me and Luce were talking about it. Can't name anybody who has the storytelling ability, especially as a babyface, who has the ability to invoke emotion out of you, who can cut a promo, the passion, like the level of passion Hangman Page does. Only criteria you can debunk him in is in-ring. Not because he's bad, because there's better people in-ring. But I think that everything else balances out. And he was not in my conversation till me and Lewis had that conversation. I said, you know what? If we're breaking it down in those categories and putting them together, overall, as a whole package, there's not many people right now in the world who can even touch Adam Page right now. Only people I say, Roman Reigns, but he hasn't been the same.
He's not here.
He hasn't been the same. He hasn't even been the same since 2024. I'll give CM Punk, but like I said, he hasn't had a feud that really hit that Drew McIntyre level since the Drew feud ended. His stuff with Roman Seth was good, but it's kind of been a little. It's been stagnant. And then Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is probably the only one I will take like overall package, but even still, like he's still developing this new character. So I gotta see where this new character. I feel like it's too early, and I think Hangman is better than Cody right now. Yes, Cody's peak. He's still in his peak, but I think last year.
Yeah, he just got back. We gotta see where.
Yeah, and he just got back too. So
right. For me, I did hear y'all's arguments, and I was moved, but. What's it called? I mean, I've told y'all before, like I've been so busy with coaching and all that stuff. Now that we're back at football season, I still got 5 episodes of Dynamite to go. I'm not watching Collision. I am gonna go watch FTR versus Paragon, but I still got 5 episodes of Dynamite to go. But I know what's been going on though. Like I keep up with it. I just haven't watched the actual shows. So that's the only reason why I'm not gonna put Hangman. But I've always loved what he was doing. I was very much an advocate that like I felt like low key if they wanted him to get the feud win over Swerve, I know why they gave it to Swerve, but I wouldn't have hated if they gave it to Adam Page. Like I damn wouldn't have hated, and he would have been justified. Like man broke into his house. Like oh god, yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, I'm not even acknowledging that. I'm still gonna give it to Gunther, and Nate. I know what you're gonna say because I heard you say it in the chat. The reason I'm still going to give it to Gunther is because just when I look at everything, even though in ring is not my like number one that I look at, I value the fact that Gunther can make every opponent he's in the ring with look strong, while also himself still looking like a dominant threat and imposing. Like, that's a really hard thing to do, to have that perfect balance of I'm dominating you, I'm whooping your ass, but also, man, you gave me the fight of my life. And I think that's a really hard balance to do, and I think Gunther does it flawlessly. Even though he ain't been booked as well as he should have, and the title reign wasn't that great, it's not Gunther's fault. You know what I mean? Like, I think he still... I mean, I'll never believe him tapping out to Jey Uso, but other than that moment, I've always felt Gunther has always been able to show, like, I dominate you. I pretty much beat your ass every day. But when you're in the ring with me, dang, you gave me the fight of my life. Wow, you almost had me for a minute there.
You did with Pat McAfee.
I mean, low key, when Michael Cole held the feet,
Yeah.
I bought it for a second. I was like, oh no.
That shit
So-
shouldn't have gone as long as it went.
Everybody's criteria is going to be different. I feel when I look at the best wrestler in the world, I'm just still looking at the package of their ability to do storytelling, their promos, their matches. Can they invest not only me, but the people in general? Like, are they must watch? You know what I mean? I feel like if you're going to be the best wrestler, you got to be somebody that's must watch, right? You're not going to just call somebody the best wrestler if they're just average, you know? Like, if they're on TV, you're like, but like the best, you're like, oh, that person's must see TV. Like, I need to see what they're doing. As
People
far
say
as the whole
almost.
package, I still feel like, for me, even though Roman is not there, I feel like he's untouchable for me. Like, he has every box you can check off. You know what I mean? But he's not around enough. You know what I mean, to be called the best anymore. But as far as the total package, I 100% still believe he has the total package over anybody. Like, I feel like he just has it mastered more than anybody when it comes to his storytelling, his crowd reaction. Like, he just knows how to do things that I feel like others just don't pick up on. But right now, though, I don't know, man. I still feel like Cody's up there for me. Even though he just came back, I feel like when you plug him, even when he just like, the reason I'm going to say Cody is because when he was gone, his presence was much felt, especially on SmackDown. Like when, and obviously, Omos, the greatest of all time. But I'm going to say Cody for me, too, just because when he was off the show, his presence was like really must felt to me. Like, I was like, they really need Cody on SmackDown. Like, it was, people can say what they want about not liking Cody and him being not a good champion. When he was not there for them couple of weeks,
Ooh.
I was like, he needs
His
to come back
months.
badly. They need him. Like, his presence is much felt in WWE. I think him just taking that little absence just showed how much more valuable he is to the product and how much more valuable he is to either the SmackDown brand, the Raw brand, or just whatever he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, he's extremely valuable to the brand. His promos are really good. I think his storytelling is really good. He can have good matches. You know, I feel like with people you put him in the ring with, I would still say Cody is number one for me. Hangman's not a bad answer. Some might say Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is also a great answer as well. Of course, you got Will Ospreay in the conversation. Gunther, they're all out there. But I think for me right now, I think Cody still has the total package. Checks off a lot of boxes for me personally, who I look at as the best wrestler in the world. And I think the big part of it, like I said, for me is when he wasn't on TV for the couple of months after Mania, his presence was much felt. I feel like SmackDown was at the lowest point, you know, when he was not there. Like, it was pretty bad. Like, people, like I said, talked about how, you know, I guess bad his championship reign was for a lot of people and how boring it was. But when he wasn't there, I'm like, no, yeah, his presence is much needed. They kind of need him a lot, if you ask me, especially in that top scene, you know, for the main eventer. So I'm gonna say Cody for me personally. Ryan, who you got?
All right, so I was marinating on it, and it's a few ways to look at it. I'm kind of going to talk it out as I think it out. So if I wanted to watch one wrestler every week, which the same style, the same presentation, and the same whatever, it's Gunther for me. Like, if I know that I'm going to have a Monday Night Raw match and it's going to be 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, give me Gunther, right? Because it'll be a different match, but it'll be the same match with a different opponent every time, right? But that's not a bad thing. That's a compliment. I don't want to come across as a bad thing. And then I want to look at CM Punk and being like, yeah, he's 50, 49, whatever he is. If he was put in the John Cena role right now, that John Cena role of the final year, the last champion, would just come across so much better and not lazy. So I want to give flowers to CM Punk in that aspect, because the landscape of 2025 presentation is extremely weird, because John Cena is our champion and he's like on a countdown to the end of the year, and you get me what you get me. Some will be matches, most of them won't, but we're going to get the same mundane promo every time. So, but if I put CM Punk in that category or that role, I think he would blow it out of the water. And then it's like, yeah, I agree with Cody and Roman. More Cody from an everyday standpoint, because I don't think that like Roman would necessarily be realistic from a week-to-week aspect, but Cody could definitely fill those Gunther's every week shoes that I was talking about. But you want to talk big match, we got a WrestleMania, we got a SummerSlam on the horizon, man, Roman Reigns don't miss. Roman Reigns don't miss on that at all, right? So this depends how you want to look at it. But then you want to talk athletically, Will Ospreay all day. You know what I mean? You want to go out there and have a athletic 15-minute TV match where you know that there's not going to be a finish till 15 minutes, which kind of is the pushback to like Will Ospreay or whatever. Like, you know, you got to go through some shit before it matters, right? The whole match matters to Gunther, and it comes across that way. That's kind of where I want to kind of symmetry with those two. So there's a few names that I'm throwing out there, but I can't get past that emotion with Hangman either. He does elicit emotion out of his opponents, out of the fans, out of everyone. So that is a very good point too as well, Nate. So there's a lot of names you can go with, but ultimately I'm going to go with Gunther, because that's who I would rather watch week to week in a 10, 15, 20, 25-minute match, right? So that's kind of how I'm going off of it.
The category that I use to determine whether or not you're the best wrestler in the world, for me, one, I think match quality plays a very large role in it. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but for me, it plays a very large role in it. Match quality for me. How excited am I when I see your matches announced for TV or on pay-per-view? Am I going, and you know what, this show looks kind of bad, but you know what? That match right there, I'm gonna watch, because I know I'm gonna see something right there. So to me, I look at that when I'm putting together when it's the end of the year for me and I'm putting together a top 10 matches of the year list. How often do your matches come into my list for me? That's what I look at. I think that's what I look at. I look at that more than character work and promo work. I'm not saying that's not important, because obviously that is, and what you do on the show, that's important. But I think in ring weighs very more for me. And for me, there's one man this year that I've looked at his matches and I went, I don't think this man has had a bad match this year. For me, it's two people. To me, it's Kenny Omega and as well. To me, it's Kenny Omega and as well Ospreay. Hangman Page also, just because Hangman I think is having some of the best runs on Dynamite right now. But also, I think Will Ospreay has been involved in some of the best things on Dynamite, some of the best things on the entire show. You look at the MJF feud, that was MJF's best feud back. That was the best MJF look in his return until recently, where he's finally getting back to form with the Hurt Syndicate. You look at the feud what he did with Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher looks like $1,000,000. Kyle Fletcher looks like a future AW World Champion. I think that's because of the feud with Will Ospreay, what that feud with Ospreay was able to do for him, and the kind of matches he was able to go out there and have, and the fact that I don't think that there's a better pay-per-view performer in the world than Will Ospreay. I don't think Will Ospreay is capable of having a bad match on pay-per-view. His floor, I think, for a pay-per-view match is 4 stars. That's his floor. His ceiling is potentially one of the best matches. His ceiling is the match of the year, potentially one of the best matches of all time. So like that to me weighs heavy. So to me, it's either Will Ospreay or it's Kenny Omega. For me, it's either Will Ospreay or it's Kenny Omega. I look at what Kenny Omega has done this year, and the more and more that I think about it, Kenny Omega is he's slowly creeping up that list for me. He's one of as a top two, top three in-ring performer. I think Shawn is number one, but I think Shawn Michaels is number one. But to me, Kenny Omega is slowly creeping into that number two territory, just because this man was out. Like this man had a serious intestinal disease, and he was out of action for a large part of a year. And his first match back as a match of the year contender, he looked like he didn't even miss a beat out there. Like, I don't know how you do it. So, like, to me, it's either Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay. That's my number one and my number two.
Two good answers, not bad answers at all. Kenny's up there. I feel like he's gotten a lot better coming back ever since the diverticulitis stuff. He's recovered from all that stuff. So I don't mind Kenny Omega being up there. Will Ospreay, obviously, his match quality is very high. I mean, he puts on some of the best matches that we've seen all year, too. So Kenny's right up there. But to dive more into the AEW and WWE topic, I don't know what everybody wants to dive into. If there's a particular frustration you want to get off your chest, if there's something that you, I don't know if you guys want to throw any shade at somebody or if you want to talk some positives, but
well, I thought Nate had some specific that he wanted to get into about it. Since it's versus WWE, I thought
I mean, man, I just think AEW's had a better creative year in 2025. Ever since the road to WrestleMania, which wasn't really all that exciting, WWE hasn't even really hit the same. If you're being real, I think week to week, AEW, especially the past few months, has just been better. Raw is cool. I like Raw. I can sit through Raw, but I mean, it's just a commercial with some wrestling thrown in at the end of the day. NXT is definitely the best show WWE has on because it focuses more on someone got a text. It is more focused on the actual like stories and the matches and the characters than like, hey, we got this product we want to sell you real quick. You know, there's not a lot of there's that in NXT, obviously, it's WWE, and there's that in all mainstream wrestling. You gotta pay the bills. I understand that, but that's where my frustration. I just feel like WWE is it doesn't feel like professional wrestling at the end of the day. I think AEW has the soul of professional wrestling. I think WWE is losing that. And it's because of all this other outside stuff that is starting to creep in and kind of take away from the wrestling. It doesn't affect the storylines unless you're talking about the War Raiders and New Day at WrestleMania, but it does take away from TV time. It shortens matches. It, you're getting these Slim Jim tables, which is fine, but now it's like you're going to have a table spot every match because you got to sell the Slim Jim, you got to get the sponsor, and it's going to take away from that table spot. It's like we have to hit a certain amount of table spots. So it's like it's going to get to that point where your matches are going to be predictable. It's like, oh, we got to do the barricade spot because we got a sponsor here. We got to do the wooden table. Then we got to do the announce table. We got to pull this ladder out because we got all these sponsors. And it's cool now until they start doing these spots to like, we have to hit it because we have these sponsors that we have to shout out like every time. And it's not just Michael Cole saying, hey, Wheatley Vodka, buy it. It's like, no, put him through the table because we got to make our partner Slim Jim happy. And with AEW, like, yeah, people can complain, it's too much blood, it's too many near falls, matches go too long, but it's all in the spirit of professional wrestling. They do it for the love of the game. WWE's doing it because they got to sell. They got to sell this product, which, again, right now is cool. It's fine. We're not having any issues with it. But what is it going to look like 6 months from now when every no disqualification match has to have this table spot and this barricade spot and that, like, because we have to sell a sponsor and it just gets repetitive and it gets boring. Whereas in AEW and in NXT as well, they're doing it just because it's the story. It's the story.
So for me, and I thought about this today because obviously we didn't have the show yesterday, but I thought about it today, right? Because I saw a clip that every 3 months gets passed around on Twitter and TikTok, and I saw the clip of Ricochet getting kicked in his head by Adam Cole off that moonsault, right? And I just started reminiscing about Black and Gold because, man, what a time. And then I really started thinking because I knew he was coming here today. I'm like, okay, sponsors aside, right? You could have 50,000 sponsors all over your ring. Me personally, I think people would care less if the product was better. We wouldn't care as much if the product was better, right? And this is not me saying, because people drag it, this is not me saying go back to the Vince era, because that was damn near unwatchable. And I really started thinking, I was like, why do we feel like this? Why do we feel like WWE is kind of slowly on the decline? And even though AEW is never going to surpass it, why AEW is kind of going up? And it hit me. I think what it is, Triple H got comfortable. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is that height that we got to at WrestleMania 40 was like, man, Cody's our new face. The reign is over. We had this, that, and the third. One of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. It's the Paul Levesque era. It's the Triple H era. Triple H, his best work is done when he's got a point to prove. When he took over NXT and that whole run, I genuinely feel was a point to prove to maybe Vince or these other people that, hey, I can make something good. I can do something. I can run this if I really wanted to. Right? And I can give people what they want. When he first took over the job, I think he had something to prove because he wanted to show that this is going to be much better than what it was under Vince. But now that we kind of all loved it and we was like, oh, yeah, cool, Triple H, thank you. He's gotten comfortable. He doesn't have the drive from what it feels like to show that he has something to prove. I think right now he's kind of like, well, I mean, look.
WrestleMania. Yeah, WrestleMania is a prime example.
Honestly, and that's where I was getting to because he's like, well, look, I done held off on Jey Uso so long and everybody was eating. Look at that. I made a new star. Look at this over here. Look, I just gave you one of the greatest main events in WrestleMania history with that triple threat. Oh, look. I gave you almost a really great night too, except for that main event. But hey, Cena's a 17-time world champion. It honestly just feels like when you like, just from an outside looking in, it's like you're kind of going through the motions almost. Whereas AEW, they've kind of referenced it in their promos as I've been watching back, but they keep talking about they're trying to get that feel back. They're trying to get that feel back, that 2021 feel where we were like, yo, these niggas can't miss. Right when they was bringing in the Danielsons and the Adam Coles and they had the Hangman story and all that. Say what you want about the Death Riders, but it's not a detriment to their show. That's not I still am enjoying every episode I'm catching up on. Right? It's just I just feel like Triple H right now, like screw the sponsorship, screw TKO. I feel creative wise, it's almost like they're going through the motions.
I think it's a couple of different things. One, I think they are just going through the motions. I think they are just going through the motions. I think a lot of the big angles that they've had planned out, that when I'm sure Triple H was playing out, or I'm like, okay, where's that? Okay, this is going to carry us through the summer and through the fall and through winter. I don't think some of those have been hits. I think some of those have been misses, like the John Cena heel turn. I don't necessarily think that's like the John Cena heel turn. I don't really think that's been all that good. And I don't really think that's been all that good. So I think that's been a miss on their end. So I think that's been a miss on their end. They don't. But Triple H. Okay, Triple H. The reason why Triple H wanted the Seth Rollins faction around, and spoiler alert, if you guys did not know, the person who was in charge of the Seth Rollins story, that is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is in charge of that. Heyman is in charge of the entire Seth story. Heyman is in charge of that if y'all did not know. If y'all could not tell, Paul Heyman is writing that if y'all did not know. I think it's a mixture of, and then SmackDown is Road Dogg, and Road Dogg is awful. I think it's a mixture of Triple H, a lot of the creative stuff that he had planned coming after WrestleMania, not really hitting all that well. Outside of the Seth story, I don't think anything else he's playing so far has been all that good. I don't think it's been executed well. I think that's why WWE's kind of flat. I think there are some positives there, but I don't think there are that many positives. I don't really enjoy the shows as much as I once did. That's what I think the biggest issue is. I just think it's creative burnout, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not even trying to throw this at a shot at Triple H, but maybe somebody else. Maybe it's time to get a new voice and a new vision in there. We see TV shows. They'll have They'll have 2-3 seasons with the same writer and shit sitting this is great, and then another season after that. Damn, what the fuck was that season? They'll get a new vision in there. It's like, okay, so we're doing this now. I'm not trying to say Triple H is bad at his job. I'm just saying maybe it's time for a new vision. I don't know. Maybe it's time for a new vision of the product. Again, I'm not saying Triple H is bad. I'm just going, maybe it's time for a new vision. I don't know where the fuck that comes from, but maybe it's time.
I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet.
I'm not saying hit the panic button. I think you're saying like Triple H just take
a couple months off. Switch it up for a season, like how you would switch out a writer. Like, hey, take some time off. We're going to get someone else, or at least take the at least give someone else more responsibility.
I was about to say.
I don't know if he wants to do it or not. Yeah, I don't know if he wants to do it or not. But he's writing. I don't know if he wants to do it or not. But the shit that you see with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Braun Strowman, that is all Paul Heyman. That is the brainchild of Paul Heyman. That is Paul Heyman doing what the fuck Heyman wants to do, and Triple H going, okay, I like that. Sure, we'll do that. That is all Paul Heyman. Maybe let Paul Heyman
just
like the rest of the show like a month or so. See how it goes.
I've been saying, just go get the same creative team that is writing the NXT Women's Division and put them on one brand. I don't care what brand. Just get them somewhere. Because I guarantee you they will fix that in a month. Honestly, all they need is one tournament. One tournament with like 3 spinoff feuds from that tournament, and they'll be fine. That's all that women's division needs, at least on Raw. SmackDown is kind of okay. I don't like that they're running Tiffany and Nia back. I don't like that. But who else are they gonna get? You know what I mean? So just
you know what? You know that it was funny because they kind of had some depth and then they just released them. So
what happens when you release Dakota Kai and you release that's what happens when you release Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler, the other depth that you have in that division. That's what happens. That's what happens.
The collective wasn't doing nothing, man. I'm not really. They could have been, but they was cooked from the jump.
Ryan, I'm gonna let you go, Ryan. How do you add onto the points they're making?
Well, I wouldn't say we fire Triple H, but I like the idea of maybe him getting hyper focused. All right, let's put it this way. So you're a football coach, right? You're the head coach. You're involved with one group of positional players, right?
Right.
So say the head coach is really into defensive linemen, right? Just he needs to focus on the defensive linemen, let the other coordinators do their job, and then just kind of let him get his creative feelings in that defensive line, right? So coming out of WrestleMania, they're like, all right, we're going to make the reports or whatever, believe them however you want. SmackDown's going to be the land of tag teams, and Raw is going to be the land of women. And it's like, that's a good-ass idea, right, for structure and core of the team, right? So it's like, since we get that, the SmackDown division, we throw Fraxium in there. We're having great television matches each week. We get the killer TLC match. And then we have these little feuds within the structure of the tag team division. Right. And then they throw the wet blanket of the Wyatts into this hot tag team division. And then since then, all those characters that we've built up are like kind of laying down to the Wyatts, spooky, and like Montez Ford is like, I don't want to wrestle no one now. Like I'm like that's like that structure is just like, what are we doing? We invested all this time in the SmackDown tag division. We throw the Wyatts in there, and you can make that work, but then they have to be subservient to the rest of the tag teams to be lessened and weakened. So that's like a wicked red flag to me of being like, well, as a whole, while you invest all this month in this whatever, that division's kind of been cooking since Survivor Series, and then we build up to post the TLC, and then they have great action after that, and then we insert the Wyatts, and then everyone else quivers, and the tag team division falls to nothing. That's a little concerning to me. Now on the Raw women's side of things, I think they're doing all right, right? Like the pieces are starting to moving. It's weird because you have Money in the Bank season, and then on top of that you have Queen of the Ring season, so it's just like structure wise, and it's like they put a lot of things on hold. So it's just like, I don't want to say the excuse is, well, shit's on hold till Evolution, but individual matches leading into Evolution, you could probably see some breadcrumbs of pretty decent TV, so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know. I would definitely be concerned from the SmackDown tag divisions type of thing. Like, this is going to be our focus, and then just kind of making it be nothing. And the Wyatts and all that work we did with those tag teams to build them up, and nothing with the Wyatts, and then they're all lessened than they were before the Wyatts got there. From that, it's just like, where is his thumb on the pulse of a lot of things, just to use an example. So maybe he does need to I forgot who said it, but maybe sharpen his pencil or sharpen his iron or get more focused on something to go full circle here, where I don't know. It just feels like maybe he's not in full focus or something.
I think your analogy of coaching, and I appreciate that because I'm a coach, I think works perfect. I think right now he's the head coach that's trying to handle every single position group.
Yeah.
Where and I've been in situations where I've had to handle multiple position groups. That's not fun. That's not fun.
We're gonna link up later. I coach ball too, so we're good.
Yeah. Because having to worry about multiple positions sometimes it's just because coaches leave out of nowhere. Like that's a headache. That's very, very stressful. So I think that example you use is perfect. Right now, he can be the head coach. Focus on your side of the ball. Let your coordinators handle that, and just really lock in. The main event is yours.
Yeah, whatever.
Handle the main event.
Yeah.
What you do in the main event, that's you. Please go get that coordinator from NXT. Please.
But that's what he's doing with Heyman. That's what he's doing with Heyman, at least for the Raw side. The Raw main event scene is all Paul Heyman. That's all. The Raw main event scene is all Paul Heyman. That is all Paul Heyman putting that together. It's Heyman going to Triple H and going. It's Heyman going to Triple H and going. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to advance my story. Triple H goes, okay. It's literally all Heyman. Like, I don't know if y'all know, but like that monster push Bronson Reed got last year, that was because of Paul Heyman. That was because of Heyman. They were struggling to find ways to get Bronson Reed over. And Paul Heyman was like, I'll tell you how you get him over. Paul Heyman was like, I'll tell you how you get him over. It was like, you have Bronson Reed go to the ring, you have Bronson Reed go to the ring, and you have him murder everybody. And if you do that, I guarantee you within 2 weeks he'll be the most over guy on the show. And Bronson Reed murdered everybody. And 2 weeks later, he was one of the most overacts on the show. So they're doing that. It's Heyman, so they're doing that. The Raw main event scene is Paul Heyman. The SmackDown main event scene, I don't know. They got some work to do over that. But the SmackDown main, I don't know. They got some work to do over that. But the Raw main event scene, that's Paul Heyman. That is literally all Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I've always watched wrestling, I think, a little differently than most of my friends I grew up with and other people. Like, there's gonna be good and bad. You gotta understand that not everything you watch you're gonna like. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people also have a lot of nostalgia for the eras they're from, because you'll see a lot of people gaslight their era, whether it's the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era. But it's like, no, that was good though. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up in that time frame. There were some bad things in that era too. Like, it wasn't all peaches and cream. Like, I watched some great stuff in that era, but then I also watched the Great Khali as the World Heavyweight Champion. It was ass. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't a good time. Like, you go back and look at the Attitude Era, a lot of great things in the Attitude Era, but then we watched, Choppy Choppy Yo Pee Pee. Like, that wasn't good. It was ass. You know what I mean?
Mae Young give birth to a hand.
Yeah, like there's some bad things in every era, but can you produce more good quality? I think as fans is what we're looking at. When it's noticeable that there's more bad than good, that's when it becomes a problem. We always talk about 2018, 2019. The reason we always destroy that era is because the noticeability of the more bad and good was starting to outweigh. You're looking at the product and like, bro, there's very few things on this show that are really good quality right now. Like, besides NXT, which was carrying, heavily, like LeBron in 2018, this show has a lot of bad on it that you could point out. Like, a lot of bad storylines, a lot of bad matches, a lot of bad character development, a lot of burial of characters that we thought had potential to really be moved up to the next level. Like, it just was outweighing where you're looking at it. It's just like, it's becoming unbearable to watch. I don't think WWE's in that particular territory right now. I get some people don't like the TKO aspect of the brand deals and the logos on tables and on, the ring and stuff like that. I don't really care too much about that. It's just a logo at the end of the day to me. They're getting paid for it. Like, if it becomes an issue, like Nate said later down the road, where you got to do certain spots for the brand deals, and I'm like, okay, then you're stretching it. But I don't care how many logos you have in the ring, as long as you're producing good stuff. Put 1,000 logos on the ring for all I care. I'm not gonna be distracted watching a match that's really good just because there's a Prime logo in the middle of the ring. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like right now, WWE's at a weird stage. We talked about it last week, but this year creatively is Triple H's worst on the main roster. But even at his worst, still not as bad as what I saw Vince do in the 2018-2019.
No doubt.
Oh, no, it's not bad. Oh, no, it's not bad.
I'm just saying from what other people's perspectives are. Like,
Yeah,
I
some
feel
people
like
are
when you go through a bad vortex with WWE's booking, because you're always going to have a good and bad vortex, even with AEW. When you go through a bad vortex of bad booking, then fans like the outrage, oh, this is the worst it's ever been, and this is all terrible. It's like, bro, relax. It is a bad vortex. Yes, you're going to go through that times, but stop trying to compare it to other bad vortexes that were clearly worse than what we're going through right now. Wrestling right now is in a very good spot. It's in a very good spot right now. You may not enjoy every single thing, but it's in a very good spot. You know, like I feel like as fans, and we can always be guilty of this ourselves. I feel like as fans, we have to find ways to just enjoy it more. You know what I mean? Like we got to understand not everybody's going to get pushed they don't like. If you didn't like Jey Uso, okay, Jey Uso wasn't your cup of tea, but you got to understand why he gets pushed. He's over. That's why he's getting the push. Like he's got the crowd reaction. You hear it every single week. You can't deny it. You can talk about it on the internet all you want, but the Marinas go crazy for this nigga every single week. It happens every place they go to. So that's why he's getting those opportunities because he's consistently over with the audience. And there are people out there who want to see Jey Uso get pushed. We've had many debates where we made clips about John Cena, about being the GOAT and stuff, and some people disagreeing because he got booed for half his prime, right? Which is true. But I'm like, bro, y'all also had to remember there's another portion of the audience that did like him though. Like he impacted a whole generation. That does exist. Like he just wasn't getting booed and nobody was like, oh, I don't like John Cena. He had a whole impact on a whole generation of people. I always use the Make-A-Wish thing as an example. This guy got more Make-A-Wishes than anybody. We're talking not even just WWE, we're talking any celebrity, bro. If that doesn't tell you about the impact that he had on an entire generation of people, I don't know what will. Like, yeah, there was half the people that were booing him. There's also a lot of people that wanted to be just like him too. So that there are people out there like that. So for people who are going to get opportunities, you know, some people may not like those superstars, but you also got to understand why you may not, you know, like them, but you also got to understand why they're getting the opportunity. I think some people are just blinded sometimes because they don't personally like those people. But, you know, I understand that there's going to be people that I don't want to see get pushed or I may not care for it, but it's going to happen. You know, like I can't control that. Doesn't mean that some of my favorites won't get pushed either.
What you just said about Jey Uso and why he's getting pushed is the exact reaction I have to AEW fans. And AEW fans are when AEW fans ask why does Tony Khan want to put the championship on Darby Allin so bad? I'm like, I wouldn't do it personally. I wouldn't do it personally. Hangman would go right into Texas and end all this shit. And then all this shit. Fuck Darby Allin. Fuck Darby. That's how I feel. But people wondering why Tony Khan wants to put the title on Darby Allin. I tell them the same thing you're saying. It's a very obvious reason. Whenever you go to AEW, go to an AEW show. Go to an AEW show, whether that be Dynamite or Collision. You're guaranteed to see a lot of kids there. A lot of kids there dressed up as two people: Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. I went to WrestleCade back in December. Darby Allin had a line out the door to meet him. It was literally a 4-hour wait. There's a 4-hour wait time to meet Darby. I didn't wait in the fucking line. I'm not waiting 4 hours. Fuck you. But it was a 4 fucking hour wait time to meet Darby Allin. Like that is how popular. That is how popular he is. On top of that, his segments do very well. So I understand why Tony Khan really wants to put the belt on Darby Allin. It's good business for him. The same thing I say with Orange Cassidy. When people are like, why is Orange Cassidy out? I'm the same. Why is Orange Cassidy on TV? Because Orange Cassidy's popular. He moves a shit. Because Orange Cassidy's popular. He moves a shit ton of merch, and also kids love him. You go to an AEW show, you're guaranteed to see a lot of kids there dressed up as two people: Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. That's what you're going to see. So that's why Tony Khan gives them the pushes that they do. You might not like the gimmick and the character. You might think Darby Allin is a fucking spot monkey, but he's popular. You might think the Orange Cassidy gimmick is stupid, but he's over. It comes out, he gets a reaction. The place goes nuts for him.
I think that's one thing people try to downgrade too in this era for some odd reason. I don't understand it. It baffles me. Getting over is like the most important thing in wrestling. Nobody wants to come out to crickets. You know, nobody wants to come out to no reaction, whether you're getting a mixed reaction like John Cena was at his peak, or you're getting booed or you're getting cheered. Wrestling is all about getting reactions. You know, that's why the pandemic was hard to watch for certain people, because there's no crowd there. There's no crowd energy based into the show. So wrestling is all about getting reactions and superstars that you guys choose. The people who choose who they like. They're the ones that make Jey Uso popular. Like Jey Uso got popular because of the people. You know what I mean? So
getting reactions is. I'm sorry to cut you off, Malik. Getting reactions is exactly why, and people are going to laugh at me when I say his name because I cape for him a lot. But him getting reactions is exactly why Psycho Sid was able to have the career that he had. where he was a top star everywhere he fucking went. In the ring, the nigga was shit. In the ring, he was terrible. In the ring, Psycho Sid was shit. He could not talk. He could not promo. He couldn't work in the ring. He was shit. But Psycho Sid came out. If you go back and watch Psycho Sid, whether it be WCW, WWE in particular, ECW, every time Psycho Sid came out, the place went nuts for him. So I understand why. Promoters are like, well, hey, shit, he can't really do shit, but he's over as hell. So, like,
I don't know why people try to downgrade one of the most important things in wrestling, like ever. It's getting over. You got to find a way to get over. Find a way to get a connection with the audience. Find a way to get a reaction, whether you're getting booed, cheered, or you're getting a mixed reaction. It doesn't matter. John Cena was the top guy for years. He got mixed reactions, but he was always over. That's why he was always in the top spot. You couldn't deny it. Whether you were booing him or cheering him, people felt emotion about what John Cena was doing. He evoked emotion out of the fans. Everybody finds a way to try to get over, but it doesn't work for everybody. But there are certain superstars who are going to get opportunities that are undeniable, like Daniel Bryan, Jey Uso, like guys like Jeff Hardy. Those guys got over organically. You know what I mean? Because people appeal to those type of wrestlers. They were people that, were wrestling their styles, or maybe it's because of their charisma or whatever they were doing because of a catchphrase. It didn't matter. Like, the audience found a way to connect with those people, and they gravitated towards those people because they felt they could vicariously live through those type of individuals. They got over organically, and the WWE couldn't deny it at one point. The WrestleMania, the Yeet movement, Jeff Hardy's, peak, they say bigger than Obama. Like, at one point, you know what I mean? Like, these people become so big, you can't deny it. So they're getting those opportunities because of how popular they are, and people want to see those opportunities given to those individuals. So I don't know why people try to downgrade the concept of getting over, or however they got over. It doesn't matter how you get over. You get a reaction. Go out there and find a way to be popular. You look at Zelina Vega. I think she's a really good wrestler, but she ain't got no reaction. And she's been a champ for how many weeks now? People try to, use
WrestleMania pretty much week after, right?
People were trying to use the excuse, well, her theme song changed. Well, her theme song been the same for a while now. People got to know about now. She's still not getting a reaction. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have a connection with the audience. You know what I mean? So, like, she's not over. She doesn't mean that she's a terrible wrestler. Doesn't mean that she's not good. She just doesn't have a connection with the audience to make people appeal enough to care about what she's doing, opposed to other people like Karrion Kross who can't even get TV time, real TV time. This man got over organically just doing backstage promos, just cutting promos on the internet.
Now he's over shit.
And he still can't even get a match in the ring. He still can't even get an in-ring segment. He still can't even get a storyline.
This man getting the biggest reactions on main events since the first episode.
Like, it's like he's being punished for getting over. And we've seen wrestlers in the past who talk about they got punished for getting over organically because they weren't supposed to. You know what I mean? But it's like, you would think that would be something you want. Like, he found a way to get over it, do something with him. You know what I mean? He can't even get real proper television time on TV. But Zelina Vega is the United States Women's Champion who barely gets reactions. You know what I mean? So it's a weird concept of weird balance.
Julia.
Jesus, I forgot that was a feud. I was confused. I was like, what?
Julia.
When did I sign a contract?
I think part of
that's probably gonna be the evolution.
I think part of the reason why, and I said this on Rated On, I think part of the reason why people like Zelina Vega, why Zelina Vega, why DIY, like the Machine Guns, like Carmelo Hayes, why they're not getting a lot of crowd reactions, as corny as it may sound, I literally think it's just because they're on SmackDown. Because SmackDown for a while was a terrible show. So SmackDown for a while was a terrible show. Yeah. And like, outside of a few exceptions, I genuinely think if I'm an NXT call up, SmackDown is the one show I do not want to go to because I don't think I have a chance of hell like getting over. Like, let's go. Like, I'm watching fucking like a lot of the crowds are dead, so it's 3-hour shows. And by the time they get to see a lot of these people, they're exhausted by most of it. Like, I remember when Fraxium had a match on SmackDown. It took these people till like the 17th flip for them to react. It took them to like the 17th flip to be like, yay. Like, the fuck? I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, the fuck is this? Like, Fraxium was up there wrestling their asses off. And y'all sitting on y'all fucking hands. I think it's because the crowd is so fucking terrible. I think the crowd on SmackDown is so fucking terrible. Because the show, the past 2 weeks have been good. Outside of that, SmackDown is not a good show. I literally think that's part of the reason why a lot of these guys aren't over. I think if you take I don't think it's a coincidence at all that Damian Priest was getting white hot reactions on Raw. Damian Priest come out, place it, go nuts. He's on SmackDown. He's still getting good reactions, but they're nowhere near the same. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. I think it's because he's on SmackDown. I think if you move somebody like Carmelo Hayes over to Raw, he'd be a lot more over. I think if you move somebody like Zelina Vega over to Raw, Zelina Vega wasn't getting that much reaction on Raw anyway, but she was getting a lot better reactions than what she's getting now. I think Zelina would be fine. I think Melo badly needs to change the scenery. I think Melo would be fine on Raw. Like that's what I think it is. Outside of like the top names, I think a lot of the reason why they're not getting over is just because of how bad of a show SmackDown is.
So let me ask everybody this, and everybody can touch on this. Do you think WWE is fumbling Carmelo Hayes right now? That's what some people think.
Yes.
That's what people think.
I just made a video about this, but I'll let Ryan go first.
So I didn't. Your question is what on Carmelo Hayes?
Are they fumbling Carmelo? Some people feel like they're fumbling Carmelo Hayes right now by not utilizing him. He's losing a lot of matches, putting people over. He's been on the main roster for over a year now, and there's other people that came up to the main roster with him, like Tiffany and Braun Breaker, and they've already gotten better spots and better opportunities. Some people even think it's a racial thing. So depending on who you ask, Triple H don't like black people apparently. For something.
I mean,
all right. So do I think they're fumbling them? Not necessarily. Like my whole realization of kind of is Triple H fumbling, so to speak. Like I'll kind of use Carmelo to kind of go full circle with that. So I think Triple H does a good job of like putting building blocks on stories and wrestlers. Like, all right, so we want Carmelo Hayes to wrestle Andrade at SummerSlam, right? Well, I think the in-between stuff he's kind of struggling with, and he comes across right now as kind of boring and out of touch, or however we want to put it, right? So it's like, I think he has a good feel for outlook, but it's the week-to-week where filling in the outlook is kind of like, that's where doesn't have his thumb on the pulse like you all talked about earlier. But with Carmelo Hayes, he just won the Andre. They gave him the cool medallion thing. They put him with the Miz for something.
Right?
What? I'm not sure. He's definitely has a plan. What? I'm not sure. Perhaps he is the next United States champion, and it's not his time. But SmackDown's 3 hours. Make that week-to-week more compelling. Make that week-to-week better for Carmelo Hayes. Give him promo time backstage with the Miz. Give him promo time without the Miz. Like, just focus on Carmelo to get him ready for that ICE or US title if the job is to get Carmelo to that US title, instead of having Carmelo fumbled to the US title and then they pick up the ball and be like, well, we ran the play, but we just fumbled 3 times, lateraled, but we scored, right? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. That was like a great explanation of Carmelo Hayes, because I don't think he's fumbled at all. I think Carmelo is fine. The only thing I don't like, and I've said it multiple times, when the Miz goes like, "Oh, Sam, shut up, you're doing too much." I don't like that. You're doing too much. But Melo don't. I think Melo don't Miz as a name. That shit is elite. That shit is fire. You can do
elite ass,
with that.
elitely ass.
No. But to the overall thing,
the only reason I like it is I just feel like it's not doing anything for anybody. Like,
I think because I just made a video on it because somebody made a thing saying like he's a jobber now, and I was like, let's relax. Serious.
I saw somebody say, I don't know who it was. I can't call you out, but I saw somebody say Carmelo Hayes was as cooked as Finn Balor was.
Oh yeah,
someone did say that.
Yeah. Someone did say that, but but to what Malik said, because he brought it up. Yes, the people that he's came up with, and I get Melo was a first-round draft pick, but I mean,
but that's a building block.
Right. But I get the people.
I'm not giving Triple H that excuse.
I'm
not.
Because I said, look, the way I would have done it, Carmelo would have won the best of 7, and he would have been the one to beat LA Knight instead of Shinsuke. If it was me with the pen, that's exactly what I would have done, and nobody would be having this conversation. Even if you wanted to give it back to LA Knight. But what I will say, to the point of all his contemporaries, look, when he came up with Braun Breaker, we all knew Carmelo don't have the stature to just go be dominating people. Braun Breaker was always going to hit the ground running first. I'm not really tripping about Braun. Tiffany, Yes, but like also she's not really what she was in NXT. Like it's definitely a step down. And if we're keeping it a buck, the bar for the women's division was damn near in hell. And Carmelo came to a bar that like
here's
what scene is
damn
near elite.
To add on to it for that, there are certain people that you knew that were going to get utilized better. I think Braun Breaker, we all felt was going to be the next guy. That was just obvious. Tiffany, you always felt was going to be somebody big in the women's division. The only reason now Lyra is doing something is because Becky Lynch came back. And
word.
Before that, Lyra wasn't doing much. You feel me? Before
this is what I think the issue is with Carmelo Hayes right now. One, I think they badly need to. I think Carmelo Hayes badly needs Trick Williams. I think he badly needs Trick.
Yes.
I think he badly needs Trick Williams. Carmelo Hayes in NXT with Trick Williams. Well, I think they need each other because one, I think they were able to play off each other. So I think they're able to play off each other so greatly because like Melo. I don't think Melo's a bad promo, but I don't think it's necessarily one of his strong suits either. Trick Williams was able to handle. Trick Williams was able to handle a lot of the promo stuff. Trick Williams was able to handle a lot of the promo stuff, and Melo was able to come in, and Melo was able to. If this makes sense, Melo was able to come in, and he was able to act like, okay, you got like Trick, you got Trick in there cutting the promo. Melo was able to come in, and he was able to act like the street kind of like slang terms to it, if that makes sense. Like I remember the feud he had with Cameron Grimes. He was on TV talking about he gonna get it back in blood. I remember he was on TV talking about he gonna get his North American championship back. He gonna get it back in blood. Like I remember doing that. I remember Melo in NXT. I remember
promo and Melo was the in-ring guy. Like Melo made
exactly. I think that's why they worked so well together. I think them breaking up was a massive mistake. And also with Melo, one, if you tell the audience that a guy's a loser a certain amount of time, they gonna start to believe he's a loser. If you keep telling people, hey, they gotta be very careful they don't fall into this with LA Knight territory. If you keep telling people, hey, this guy's a loser, he can't get the job done when it counts, they gonna start to believe. Hey, what the fuck am I cheering for you, man? I'm not saying he's Finn Balor territory. I'm not saying he's Finn Balor territory because Melo, he's also like you look at the people who Melo's losing to. He's losing to Cody. Okay, he's losing to Cody. Okay, I understand. He's losing to Randy Orton. Okay, I understand that. He's gonna get the RKO. He's losing to. Right, you look at the names he's losing against. I don't think that's an issue. If Melo was on TV losing to fucking Akira Tozawa, if he was on TV losing to fucking Austin Theory, fucking
Finn Balor.
I love him. Fucking Dragon Lee. Then I say, okay, yeah, we got.
That's why I think he's fine because the losses he is taking. I mean, other than like I said, he should have been the one to beat LA Knight instead of Shinsuke. Like, and even if you wanted to give it back to LA Knight, that's the only misstep I've genuinely felt they made with Melo, right? But that's why I think he's fine because the people he losing to, realistically, he's not ready to beat yet. And then to your point about Melo was the in-ring guy and Trick was the promo guy. Well, that was one of the reasons I was like, we need to it's going to take time for Melo, right? Because Braun Breaker, he don't need to cut promos. He could just spear everybody, and that's fine. The main roster crowd is going to gravitate more towards that as opposed to a cocky, I think Melo's 6 foot, if that?
Right, Braun,
6 foot,
Braun, Braun in the main roster
to that.
Yeah, Braun in the main roster is fine because if it's one thing you can do, because if it's one thing in wrestling that's almost guaranteed to get over, it's a guy who's built like a brick shit house going in there just kicking ass. That is almost always guaranteed to get over. I don't give a fuck how shitty of a wrestler you are. If you are fucking, I don't give a fuck how shitty of a wrestler you are. If you are built like a brick shit house, like you look like you are a walking advertisement for steroids, and you go in the ring and you destroy people, that's guaranteed to get people over. And I know this for a fact because it worked for Ryback. Ryback can say a word. Ryback is coming out whooping ass. And Ryback is coming out and whooping ass in about 30 seconds. He'd do his shit, leave. A couple months later, oh shit, this dude's over. Because he looks like he can fucking kill you. He's going to go in there, he's going to beat the hell out of you, and he's going to leave. Like, that's one thing in wrestling that's always guaranteed to work. That's why I think a guy like Oba Femi on the main roster is going to be just fine. Because they're going to present Oba like a killer. Oba's going to go in there and just murder people, and it's not going to take long for Oba Femi to be over. It's going to take Braun Breaker long to get over it. It's going to take Braun Breaker long to get over either. Because Braun's a big guy who can go in there and beat the hell out of people. If you are a big guy, you can always get over by going in there and beating the fuck out of people, by just destroying people. Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker. Like, well, you've seen it time and time again in wrestling. If you're a big guy, you can just go in there and beat the fuck out of people and get over.
I mean, honestly, that ain't guaranteed because I'm not gonna lie, I ain't the biggest fan of Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow, and that's all they do.
Well, Wardlow, I forgot about Wardlow.
Yeah, but like,
I mean. It did work. You're not being a fan of it, it's fine. But when it came tonight, it did work with Wardlow. Wardlow powerbombing people is where it got. Wardlow powerbombing people. Wardlow powerbombing people and looking like a dude that can kill you is what got him over.
And then he won that title. Oh shit! After that,
Powerhouse Hobbs. Let's keep it a bean, right? Let's keep it a bean, right? You look at the Hurt Syndicate. What did the Hurt Syndicate do when they come out? Hurt Syndicate, they come out, right? And they come out, they got the theme song. Yeah, they got the theme song, but literally, they hurt people. They go in there, they beat the fuck out of people. And people are like, oh shit, I like these dudes right here. This is something. I'm not gonna say what I want to say over here because I know Malik and a lot of that. But like, oh shit, he's like, oh shit. Like, those are two big dudes I do not want any problem with.
I think the only thing that has upset me about Melo's booking is really two things. That I feel like he should have been in the Money in the Bank. I think that was a good spot for him, or they get Andrade over him. And two, honestly, they could have found something for him to do at WrestleMania. I think it was kind of crazy that he wasn't on the show. Like, the Battle Royal was cool.
Yeah, WrestleMania was definitely a bad
Mania. You feel me? Like, damn.
Honestly, you know what they could have done? Real talk, because again, we saw what that show was. You just go to night one, take out half of the matches. I would have loved for you to give Carmelo and Andrade 20 minutes. Since y'all didn't finish the best of 7 like you were supposed to, and it ended in a tie, I would have loved to see you give them 20 minutes and finish that off. Like, real talk. Like, I would have loved, like, because look, other than the opening and the main event, all that stuff that happened on that show could have been on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
Everything could have been on Raw or SmackDown. So why not? Like, honestly, there's so many things I would change about night one. So many things.
So mid, bro.
Other than the main event, and obviously Jey Uso, he won the Rumble. Like, that was gonna happen. But like,
I don't know why people. I don't know, man. Like, Melo's in a weird spot. I don't think he's in a bad spot, but I don't know, man. People trying to use the whole race card stuff just because he's not winning or he's not getting pushed. It's like,
mind you.
I mean, this is the hard truth. This is the hard truth that people don't want to accept. On the main roster, what black person, male, is going to be in the main event? Like, let's just be real. That's the hard truth. Nobody wants to talk.
There isn't one for the men. For the men, there isn't one.
For the men, and that's the thing. They always target the men. The thing was, there hasn't. Oh my god, it was so stupid. It was so specific. You could tell it was rage bait. It was male wrestlers haven't had a singles match on pay-per-view. Meanwhile, Bianca, Jade, I think Naomi at the time were having singles matches on pay-per-view. Go down to NXT. Jade, like the women in NXT, were doing great. Like a lot of black women in NXT doing great stuff. So it was like, that's what pissed me off. Like, when I had Twitter, I just went off on something. I'm like, bro, this is so stupid. Like, this is like, you're fake progressive. You're fake woke. Like, you're not actually for racial equality, because if you actually were, you'd be talking about the real stuff. You wouldn't be micro pick. You wouldn't be picking at such small things in professional wrestling, a scripted show. When realistically, if you look at the main roster, what black male is going to be in a position to be in the main event right
now? And now you can argue. I think what people get caught on too with that, Nate. Everybody always be like for example, like when there's a situation where like this is the reality, and people don't want to accept that. Well, because it's like, well, this is what it should be. Nobody's disagreeing with you. Carmelo Hayes should be in a better spot. You're right. He's not.
He should be.
He's not. Take that for what it is. Right now, as you said, you look at that landscape. On SmackDown, not a soul is going to be over Cody. Just look at that roster. Not a soul is going to be over Cody. Not a soul is over Seth, not a soul is over Roman, and not a soul is over CM Punk. Those 4 guys are going to be your 4 for now. Now, you got people on the way, but it takes time. If you just look at the reality of the situation, there is nobody on the, but there's nobody on the men's side. You look at the women, though. Jay Cargill, out of everybody that came to WWE, is the only one that didn't hit NXT. Think about that for a second. Stephanie went to NXT. Jordan went to NXT. Julia went to NXT. Jay Cargill went straight to the main roster. Straight to the main roster.
And what I'll say too, the one person I feel like who's always the top person of color, the black person in the community at WWE is still Bianca. I feel like she's always been the number one. If you look at Roman, you look at Cody, I feel like Bianca's right up there because they market her like those two. She's on the cover of video games. She's in Fortnite. She's got her own.
Bianca's their female John Cena. I think
she's in
Bianca's their female John Cena.
Bianca Belair is the one I feel like that is up there with the Cody and Romans. Even though Bianca hasn't been the world champion in like 2 years and she was stuck in the tag team division, she only went down to the tag team division to help Jade out. So when it was time for them to split up, they felt they could utilize Jade to feel like, they want to push her and to become one of their top stars in the women's division. But when it comes to being marketable, they market Bianca more than anybody in that women's division. She's on the Slim Jim covers, with the commercials on brand deals.
Reality show.
She's on the cover of video games. She had her own reality show. Like, they just don't give that stuff to anybody.
Right. And what did Bianca Belair do the second she got out that tag team? Won the Elimination Chamber. Literally, the second she got out that tag team was in the Elimination Chamber and won it to go fight for a title at WrestleMania.
Not even
honestly, she probably would be the favorite to win Queen of the Ring if she wasn't injured.
And it goes back before. They've always treated Bianca that way. How many people do you know main event their very first WrestleMania ever? Like the first WrestleMania you're in the main event. They don't give that to anybody.
Well, she's the first women's champion
in the history of the company.
Yeah. Main roster to be clear. Main show. She was on kickoff.
Yeah, but like the main, like her first big high profile match, she was in the main event of WrestleMania, longest reigning women's champion in the history of the company. Like they've always treated her like a superstar. You know what I mean? Like they've treated her like Cam said.
Sacrifice Asuka.
Yeah, they've always treated her like Cam said.
And Damage Control and Bayley. They sacrificed them returning Asuka. And they sacrificed a new Damage Control.
Oh my god!
If you go back and look at the Extreme Rules ladder match, she soloed all 3 members of Damage Control just to win the ladder match every time.
But we was calling her the female John Cena.
I think she is the female John Cena. That's how they view her.
I think she's Batista now.
No, I don't think she's downgraded that far.
I think Rhea's.
No, she has.
I think
for sure. I think Rhea's.
I think Rhea's Batista. I think they view Rhea as Batista. I think that.
No, the way I broke it down is because Batista, he broke out first before Cena. Like before Cena, he was getting that push to be the guy to face Triple H, to dethrone Triple H. He was on the main show, and then in 2005, once they both won their titles, the position switched, and as you see, Bianca got the start first, and Rhea she still got the win, she still got the title, but then like she was always a number 2 to Bianca, but now since Triple H took over, Rhea has taken over, so I think she's in that. She's the main event. Bianca hasn't been in a main event.
But to say, see, people trying to downgrade to say that Vince did the work. Vince did the work too, but if Triple H didn't like Bianca, he could have easily just threw her out of the water and did nothing with her.
That's what he did with Theory.
Like,
that's what he did with Theory.
If Triple H didn't like Bianca Belair, she would have been Austin Theory in that women's division. He would have been forgotten about. Bianca Belair.
Nigga, that shit is crap. Nigga, tag it up. Tag division. That's where you go. Tag it up. Tag it up.
There's never been a point in her entire career where I felt Bianca was an afterthought. She was always doing something in the division. Her and Jade, even though they were stuck in a tag team, that's probably the best reign for the tag team they had for the women, if I'm being honest. And that they've had no tag teams on the main roster for how long?
Most focused. That's the most focused on tag team titles I had. That's the most focused on tag titles I ever had.
That's probably the most important and most utilized those women's tag team titles were for its entire existence.
Probably how they ever
because it was on Bianca Belair and she was teaming up with Jade Cargill. So they've always treated her like a superstar. She's never been in a spot where she was getting buried, or a spot where she was an afterthought, like in Austin Theory, other people where you thought they had potential to reach the glass ceiling and didn't get there. Bianca's always been that person that they marketed for the women's division and for everybody. So she's right up there with those people. She's the female John Cena because they treat her that way. She got the connection with the audience, little kids, and girls want to be just like her. Like, they've utilized her like that her entire existence since 2021, since coming up to the main roster. You know what I mean? Even when we thought she was buried, when she lost to Becky at SummerSlam in a matter of seconds, when we thought it was over for her, they still made up for it with that storyline with Becky Lynch and rejuvenated her by giving her one of the best women's matches we've ever seen at WrestleMania, and then gave her the longest reign we've ever seen for any women on the main roster as champion.
And for those of you saying, "Oh, well, Bianca was this under Vince," she also got squashed under Vince too.
That's the second best.
We also thought she was cooked under Vince too for a minute. Like
Bianca and Becky and Bianca, that's the second best women's feud in the past. That's the second best women's feud easily in the past 5 years.
But Triple H he can treat anybody how he wants to treat them, bro. Like, you gotta stop trying to downgrade it. Like, if he didn't want Bianca to be in a profile spot, she wouldn't be there.
Yeah, this is before TKO, so he really could treat anybody like that.
He feels like is valuable to the brand and the product. You know what I mean? And somebody said Vince treated black talent better than Hunter. How many black world champions were on the Vince? What, 3, 4? And the whole
and over a span
what happened to Kobe?
But to go back years, Vince had control of the main of WWE since the 80s, right? From the 80s until he left 2023.
Vince had Slick on TV eating a bucket of fried chicken. The fuck?
Vince had
that Slick on TV.
No. The world champions Vince had in that time frame. You had The Rock, right? The Rock in there. You had Booker T. You had Bobby Lashley. You had Kofi Kingston.
Mark Henry.
And you had Mark Henry. Those are the 5. And Biggie.
Biggie, yes. 6 in how many years?
So you thinking
Biggie was the
6 people in a time frame of what? We're talking how many decades? We're talking from the 80s to the early 2020s. That's 6 people.
Let's give it a bean. Let's give it a bean. Outside of The Rock and Mark Henry, how many of the world title reigns do you remember? How many of the world title reigns do you remember that shit happened? That some actual good shit happened. Outside of Mark Henry with the Hall of Pain and The Rock, because how many times he fucking helped that?
Bobby's is underrated.
Bobby's wasn't bad. He just got fed.
Bobby's underrated for sure.
Biggie's was cool, but he got fed.
King Booker's was
for day one.
Biggie's was
I think it was getting because remember it was starting to get good, and then Roman got COVID, and then was like.
Well, he's supposed to lose it anyway. He's supposed to lose
it. And then Bianca too, because she was
he was supposed to lose the title anyway.
But even then, some people still don't want to count The Rock because they've always paid tribute to more of the Samoan culture for his side than the black culture. So
I mean, that's more
that black. But I'm saying some people don't want to count.
He only black when you talk about his daddy. But anyway,
so you know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't want to look at it that way. So I mean, there aren't really too many black superstars even under the Vince.
Oh, King Booker's was good
up there.
King Booker's was solid. It was good. It was more about the gimmick.
That's been a thing through WWE's existence. You're right. Like, it's not even Vince or Triple H. Like, there haven't been too many black superstars in general that have really been at the higher echelon or top world champions. You had a couple sprinkled here and there, but there aren't really too many. So it doesn't really matter if it's Triple H or Vince. We haven't had much of that. You know what I mean? We need more of it, actually. So there hasn't
even if the Triple H doesn't like, I'm not saying this is, but even if the Triple H holds certain black talent down, if that is true, even if that's the case, I don't think y'all would understand what malpractice that would be as a promoter to do that. Like, Bill Watts, for example, is a guy who. Bill Watts, for example, is a guy who was keeping a beam. Bill Watts does not like black people. We keep it a beam. Bill Watts does not like black people. Bill Watts has been accused of being a racist. Bill Watts in the 80s in the South, when he was promoting Mid-South, Junkyard Dog was his top star. Junkyard Dog was his top star. Junkyard Dog was as black as can be. I'm pretty sure Bill Watts was not happy that Junkyard Dog was his top draw. But JYD made Mid-South a lot of fucking money because of how fucking popular and how fucking over he was. So Bill Watts went, dang! Well, hey, this guy's making the most money back then when you had to live or die by the fucking ticket sales. This guy's selling the most tickets, so I guess we'll make him our top star. Like, I guess we'll make him our top star. Like, I guarantee you, like, there's no promoter out there, no matter how racist they are, that is just don't see a black guy that is moving the kind of merch they're moving and getting the kind of ratings they're doing is just going. Nope, we're not putting them. Is going. Nope, we're not putting them on top. And like, also, like, I think Velveteen Dream would have been the top star if he wasn't a weirdo. So like,
He would have been one of their top stars. But even if, like I say, you go back to NXT, look at all the people that Triple H made champion. Keith Lee had both championships at one point. He was the first person to do it. Ember Moon was the face of the division at one point for NXT. The Street Profits were champions down there. He put Chad on Leon Ruff. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gave him a North American Championship reign.
Yeah,
like,
He showed in.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's
I forgot about
right.
that man. Oh my
Leon
god!
Ruff was the North American champion.
Bro, that title, he put it on his waist and it just fell.
It couldn't even fit on him. Like, I feel like
Oh my god! I forgot about that.
That's awesome.
Oh shit!
there are always people of color that you always feel can do better, but I think people they're only looking at one race and they're not looking at the other ethnicities that are getting used. It's very diverse right now. You know, you go look at that. Remember the ladder match in there. You had Hispanic people in there. You had people from different countries, like just different ethnicities throughout the entire match. But just because there's no black male in there, then people got to throw like, bro, there's so many different ethnicities in the match though. Like there's plenty of different people in there of different races and cultures in there too, though. It's not like they're just all white people, all hillbillies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know people are looking for. I think they got to stop using the race card for everybody who's not getting pushed and losing. Like,
it's fake welcome.
Just rage bait. That's all.
It's just rage bait at this point, right? It's mad annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely mad annoying. One thing I want to ask: if there was a AEW and WWE match that you guys could see, just for one superstar on each side, what match would you guys want to see?
Are we just talking that ring, or we go?
Just a match you just want to see. Like, I just want to see this match.
Woo! Is Bryan Danielson technically still under contract?
Is who?
Is Bryan Danielson technically still under contract with them?
I'll go Statlander.
No.
Statlander,
No.
Charlotte. Off the drip.
Charlotte.
Statlander who?
Charlotte. That fits.
If
But
we could get Charlotte before she lost her knee, sure.
For me,
2025.
For me, I would pay an obscene amount of money to see Kenny Omega and Gunther and to see Will Ospreay and AJ Styles. Even though I ain't to see Will Ospreay and AJ Styles. Even though AJ is not the AJ role. AJ Styles is
still put together a good match. He's still
pretty damn good. I would pay to see Kenny Omega and Gunther and Will Ospreay and AJ Styles. I'd pay to see that. I'd pay to see that.
So
fuck it. Oh, go ahead, G. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Okay. All I want to say, he's still under contract. Even though he's not on the screen, he's still under contract. Fuck it, man. Give me Gunther versus Darby Allin.
Oh my god!
I want to see Gunther ragdoll that man for 10 minutes.
When you say Gunther and Darby Allin, I'll give you one that I think of every night because I think this would be a lot of fun. Gunther and Brock Lesnar, when Brock still gave a fuck. Oh my god, that has to be so much.
Like
the amount of
two, like 03?
I'm talking like Brock. I'm talking like a motive. I'm talking this current version of Brock, I'm a motivator. So like Brock versus Brian, Brock versus AJ. Like one of those versions of Brock against Darby Allin. That is a match.
He is a smaller guy, so he would actually care.
That is a match I badly want to see. Darby Allin alone. Because Darby Allin alone can make a lot of matches entertaining alone, just based off the fact that he's gonna bump his ass off.
My god,
Darby Allin in there bumping. I need it. That is a match I badly need.
Oh my god.
What was yours?
So I actually have a men's and a women's one. For my women's, I personally want to see Bianca Belair versus Willow Nightingale. I want to see that. I'm not gonna lie. I think Willow Nightingale, great. I'm gonna need her to come on over because I know she's not gonna win that TBS title or that AEW Women's title anytime soon. So like, just go ahead and make the jump. Just go ahead and make the jump. Like,
I don't think Willow.
I don't think she's winning any of those titles anytime soon.
I got some bad news. Willow's resigned, baby, but she ain't going nowhere.
I mean, that's fine.
Good.
That's cool. That's cool. But for the men, man, there's obvious answers, and unfortunately, some people ain't got their knees no more. But man, if I just want to see real graps, if I just want to see real wrestling, I'm not gonna lie, I might want to see like a full on. This is gonna be a little underrated, but I want to see Chad Gable get in there with like Kenny Omega in just 30 minutes. Just give me some real graps.
Can we get Chad?
Give me some real graps.
Hey, WWE, if you watching, I'll speak on behalf of Tony Khan at AEW. We will trade you Daniel Garcia, and we will send y'all back Adam Cole. We will trade you Daniel Garcia. We'll send you back. We will send you back Adam Cole. And we'll even send you y'all private party. What's up, private party?
Nah, bro. Why you gotta include Adam Cole, bro? He can stay in AEW.
Now, here's the thing though. If anybody's gonna bring Adam Cole back to the limelight, it's Papa H. Because he loved him so Undisputed Era.
It's not even a limelight problem, bro. It's an Adam Cole problem at this point.
Adam Cole is low key wash. I was
say he kind of fell off. So I don't know.
I'm just saying, WWE, if you watch it, well, hey, WWE, if you watching, I'll give you. I'm speaking on behalf of Tony Khan. I'll trade you. We will trade you Adam Cole, private parties since their contracts are coming up. And we will trade you Daniel Garcia if you let us have Chad Gable. If you let us have Chad Gable. We need Dragon Lee. We need Dragon Lee. That nigga ain't doing nothing. We want Chad Gable. We want Dragon Lee. We want Chad Gable. We want Dragon Lee. You don't keep Mariah May. We want I'm trying to think. We want Chad Gable. We want Dragon Lee. We want Tyler Bate. Go ahead and get it. Go ahead and get us big strong boy Tyler Bate back. And we will trade y'all. Actually, that's it. That's all I want. So
keep on Grande Americano. Yeah, keep.
Y'all keep on Grande, but we get Chad Gable. Y'all keep on Grande, but we get Chad Gable. We get Dragon Lee. We get Chad Gable. We get Dragon Lee. We get Tyler Bate. You can have that for Adam Cole, Private Party, and Daniel Garcia.
So
that's what y'all can have Hook. What's the Hook in the deal too? Y'all can have Hook. We'll give y'all Hook.
I'll say about Adam Cole. I don't think Adam Cole's lost his touch. I just feel like he just has no aura to him anymore. Like compared to what we know Adam Cole was, 5-6 years ago. Even when he first came to AEW, Adam Cole was like that. He was one of the, you could say, top 10 best wrestlers in the world. But I don't know. Ever since he came back from that injury, he ain't connected.
Yeah, name me a classic Adam Cole match we've seen. What's the last classic Adam Cole match?
I don't know how many Adam Cole
maybe
matches
MJF and all that.
Gargano.
That was 3 years.
I say Gargano. That's crazy.
I say MJF.
MJF.
That's the last. It's been almost 2 years since his last.
Adam Cole.
To your point, man, I get why they had to do it. But that devil storyline messed everything.
Why are we? No. Hold on. Why are we blaming it? Putting the blame on AEW? Yeah, he had some bad stories. But we've seen people have bad stories and still have good matches.
I think
in ring, that's his best quality in ring. And this nigga has not had a classic match since 2023.
The biggest issue.
I'm saying
no. I'm talking about I'm saying the biggest issue with trying to put it on AEW and the booking. Like yes, he's had bad stories, but he still has not had produced good matches. Nigga, I almost went to sleep watching him and Kyle Fletcher. I literally went to the bathroom. I was filling out a job application. Like I'm doing everything but watch Adam Cole wrestle in 2025. He's not had a really good match in a very long time. The biggest hindrance on Adam Cole's AEW run has been injuries.
Every time they planned to give him a monster push, he's been injured. Every time he's gotten injured at the worst possible time. He got injured with that fucking concussion, came back, starts the feud with MJF. I think he's beating MJF for the AEW World Title. I think that's where that storyline's been. I think Adam Cole would beat AEW World Champion, but he got hurt, so they had to pivot. And he came back, and Adam Cole. The injuries I think have gotten to him, but I I don't think he's been. Adam Cole is washed. That man is not like that.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just pinpointing the moment because he had the devil storyline, and I was like, great, that's cool, but you're injured, so you're on TV, but you're not on TV. And then they sent Wardlow to go get the title, and that was trash.
The devil
storyline was off TV.
That was.
I'm not gonna lie. I get they're best friends, but y'all gotta stop letting friends do stuff on TV. I was not a fan of Jesus, I can't remember their names.
Riley and Strong.
No, not the other two. The ones that were in Ring of Honor.
Bennett and
Bennett and them. It just looked so. It was.
I think the smartest.
It felt like a bootleg Undisputed Era.
With the double storyline, my friend Kyle says it best. With the double storyline, my friend Kyle says it best. He says hindsight is 2020. He says hindsight in 2020. He knows that the reveal would have been fucking bad, but he said hindsight in 2020, working what you had to work with. He said looking back at it, if he had to pin, he just would have made Roderick Strong the double. He just would have made Roddy the double the entire time. That you keep the Adam Cole and MJF dynamic of them being friends. Whenever Adam Cole and MJF come back, whenever Adam Cole and MJF come back, they fucking work together to take AEW back from the fucking Death Riders. What the fuck they're doing now? He's at hindsight. He's looking at hindsight 2020. That's what they should have done. Now, hopefully, Hangman Page can ride into All In on a fucking horse, go in, and hopefully he can slay the beast from John Moxley.
I promise you.
I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either.
I
think a key giveaway to that match. If that match happens in the middle of the card, Hangman is losing.
That's main eventing. That's main eventing. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't see what's about to happen, bro. They're about to have in-game. They're literally about to do the same thing they did at WrestleMania 40. They're about to have Swerve. They're about to have Ospreay. They're probably gonna, if he's healthy, Eddie Kingston probably if he's healthy, because there's a tie-in there. I see Sting making an appearance. He did it last year. I can see Sting making an appearance. If Darby wants to come, if Darby's ready, I can see Darby coming back, or Danielson. Hangman's winning. If I would have put a bet, I put a bet on Hangman winning. There's no way. There's no way that if it's in the middle card, then we're cooked. But if it's the main event, there's no way.
If it's the main event, Hangman is winning. But if they put this shit in the middle of the card, or they say on Dynamite Tony, or they say on Dynamite Tony Mercedes is the main event, then we know the fucking result. We know the fucking result of that Hangman event.
I mean, to me, I thought it was going main event regardless. No disrespect to Tony and Mercedes, but I thought it was going main event regardless. And I've been saying since he went to go climb Mount Everest, he is going to hold that title until Darby Allin comes back. They are going to finish that storyline.
I think they caught it all.
Bro.
No. Listen. There's been for months now. There's been times where we were like, "Oh, you could have taken it off him," and they didn't. I think they're going to stick to. I get Hangman got the story. I'm not saying he don't. I'm not going to be mad if Hangman wins. I'm just saying realistically. I genuinely think they've been wanting Darby Allin to come back and win that title.
Okay, but to be real, the only time we said they could take the title off was Swerve. Cope was not beating Mox. Cope was not beating Mox. Let's just be real. Cope was not beating Mox. It did not make any sense to the story. Fucking Orange Cassidy was not beating Mox. Oh, no. And Will Hobbs was not beating Mox.
Oh yeah, no.
Swerve was legit the only guy in this reign that match. We say yes, he could have won.
How long
they sacrificed since I think October.
I'm not gonna lie.
How long is
it? Feels like Roman Reigns' undisputed reign. It feels like it's been 1,000 days. But I don't think they'd be putting in this much effort to this main event. Like they're adding so many layers to this main event. They're adding Swerve. They're adding Ospreay. The whole thing. They're doing way too much to just have Hangman lose. Like to have Hangman lose. I like Tony Khan can be.
I hear you.
Goddamn. No. Tony Khan can be stupid. But even Vince Russo would see this and be like, okay, we're going to give it to Hangman. Yes, it would be extremely overbooked. It'd be extremely overbooked.
Nate,
if it'd be
If
strictly
this
over
was
books.
Rusev,
But
Nate,
even,
if this
but
was
that's how
Rusev, he's
obvious
fucking
it
the
is.
Spurs.
No, it's
Nate.
so obvious. It's
Nate.
like, dude, even
Nate.
with yes, the story going in would be fucking horrible, and it'd be so many swerves, and the main event would be overbooked. But at the end of the day, Hangman would win. Like that's
Nate.
how obvious. I'm saying that's how obvious. That's how obvious it is, bro.
Nate,
It's so
you're
obvious.
100. Nate, you're 100% correct. I do not disagree with you, but I'm just thinking, right? I think Darby Allin has always been the plan, and because he got to the top, and he climbed Mount Everest, and he's down.
He's helping Hangman win.
It's been about a month. Look, listen.
If Hangman loses,
All I'm saying is, I would not be shocked. Because what's after All In? What's the next one after All In?
all out.
I would not
He's
be shocked
healthy.
if Darby Allin wins it All Out.
If it's Hangman and Darby Allin at all, yeah.
No, because he's
One,
gonna
I
come
don't
back
think-
from Moxley. Like
One,
He's
if
gonna-
Darby,
Yeah, because Darby's gonna help Mox. He's gonna help Hangman win, and he's gonna face Mox at all out in like a fucking
Darby's
death
not gonna
match.
show up until
Because that's the show for the sickos. So they're gonna have the
One,
little
if
nasty stuff at all out.
Darby,
Allin's not coming back.
if they do, if Darby
Hangman's
wins,
still gonna win. It's fine.
if they still go with the plan of Darby winning the title, Darby's winning at Wrestle Dream in his home. Darby's winning at Wrestle Dream in his home state of Washington. That's where that fucking title is at.
When is Wrestle Dream?
That's in October. That's when I think that should happen.
I don't
Second,
think
Y'all really wouldn't put it past Tony Khan giving Moxley a 365?
I wouldn't.
Not now, bro. Here's the
wouldn't
thing.
think
Here's
about
the thing. Because I think Tony, even though he's got crack running through his veins right now, I think he sees that everyone's tired of WWE and that everyone's like a lot of people are
If
migrating to
Hangman
the show.
loses, if Hangman
And he's like,
loses
okay.
at All In, if Hangman loses at All In, I think it legit kills any momentum AEW had going for.
Yeah, no, it killed. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, like AEW has so much, like they have so many more eyes on him than they have in the past few years. A lot of people are migrating. I think Tony saw that and said, okay, Darby, I love you, but we have to. Like, I think Tony Khan's putting on his big boy pants and said, like, all right, now that they're kind of losing momentum,
Tony Khan,
looking at us.
Hey, Tony Khan, your world champion is being sued. Hey, Tony Khan, your world champion is being sued right now. Hangman would never get sued. I'm just saying, your world champion is getting sued.
That's crazy.
Hangman would never get sued.
Yeah,
I heard about that. I
did hear about that. And Ricochet not doing himself any favors. All I'm saying is, bro.
I don't even know what he said.
It's something stupid. I think he said like the world is full of a bunch of kitty cats, basically, like to that thing. Anyways,
good job, Ricochet.
Yeah. But all
That's why
I'm
God
saying
took away your
is,
hair.
I don't disagree with what y'all are saying. I really, really don't. But something's telling me in my gut Darby Allin's been the plan. And Darby Allin, I think, would be in the spot right now if he didn't go climb Mount Everest.
Well, for
That's
sure.
what I think.
For sure.
So
No, I agree with you.
He's holding out for.
I agree with you, but I wholeheartedly believe that Tony Khan finally called the audible. Because Swerve wasn't even in the plans. Like Swerve in advance, like wasn't even supposed to be the guy.
No, of course. But
So,
I think that was just a nice little wrinkle that they can add. But it's Darby.
Yeah.
It's Darby. I hope I'm wrong, but I genuinely feel like July 12th,
if
we're gonna do our podcast and you're gonna be like, damn.
If we were in different circumstances, I would say so. But I think Tony Khan actually put his big boy pants on and actually is going to make the right decision.
I'm not banking on Tony Khan putting any type of big boy pants on, honestly.
I think Hangman wins. I think it's kind of the obvious choice, but then again,
It's very obvious.
It's obvious. I don't think it is.
I mean, they took Chris Jericho off TV. Yeah, been on TV for months.
Everybody can answer this one because there's been they're going in the chat talking about how Gunther's not a star. So he wants to know. I'm curious to know your definition of who a star is. To me, a star is someone who always helps the crowd reaction, like Jericho, Cody, or
maybe in his prime, not Jericho.
Okay, so I think he's comparing as far. He's saying Gunther doesn't get reactions on the level of those type of people, those popularities. So Gunther, yes, of course, isn't as over as a Cody. He's not as over as like some of the most popular stars in the company, like CM Punk and everything. I don't think that it makes Gunther necessarily doesn't mean that he's not a star. Gunther is a very unique talent in WWE that nobody else is like. He's a very different style that brings something different to the table. He's like an old school type wrestler that many people aren't like, and you won't find too many people today in professional wrestling. So marketing wise, maybe he's not on the level of a Cody, but I think Gunther still gets reactions. He's still one of the most open guys in the company. And I think people still pay to go see him wrestle because he puts on high quality matches in the ring with anybody he's in the ring with. Over the last 5 years in WWE, even I'll say 6 because he's been in WWE since 2019. If you watch NXT UK and NXT, Gunther's produced some of the best quality matches we've seen in WWE. Tyler Bate, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn.
Pete Dunne, Ilya Dragunov,
like Drew McIntyre and Sheamus at WrestleMania. Like he's produced some of the best high quality matches we've seen in WWE. So his style is what makes him stand out differently than others. There's no other superstar you can point in the company right now that matches anything that Gunther presents or brings to television. He's just completely different than everybody else. So yes, he may not be a ticket seller as like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns or CM Punk or Randy Orton. He may not be on that level, but he also brings something different to the table that many other people aren't going to bring to the table, and that is his style, what he brings in the ring. You can put Gunther in the ring with anybody, and he can produce a great match. He just did it with Pat McAfee, who only had like a handful of matches in his entire career, and his match with Pat McAfee at Backlash was pretty good. It was watchable. It was very entertaining. So I don't know. I don't know what people want from Gunther. I don't know what they expect. I get he's not everybody's cup of tea. Gunther's one of those people I feel like you either really like him or you really don't. You know what I mean? There's like no in between. Like you either understand his gimmick and you understand his presentation, or you just find him boring. It's like really no in between.
You're either a smart person or a fucking idiot, basically.
He's a different kind of star for sure, presentation wise.
He's different. He's a unique superstar. Like I said, no, he's like an old school 80s type wrestler. Like he's not the flashiest. He doesn't come out with the
70s, bro.
he doesn't come out with like the most, flashiest colors. His ring gear is very simple. His presentation is very simple, but he kicks ass in the ring. You know what I mean? Like he's a very old school traditional type wrestler who's bringing that style back to this era that you don't see too many people bring. So it's very different. He's a very different type of a superstar. You know, he's not.
But it's funny because it's a different style in a different era, but yet the crowd in this era still reacts as if you would see a match from this era with a different, more modern style, because he's just always able to. He brings his style and he's able to match it with any style, whether it's a brawler, a technician, a high flyer, doesn't matter. Like he's always able to put on a very, very good match. And like that IC title run, his worst match in that entire run was against Riddick Moss. And that was a good match. Like it wasn't even a bad match. Like that's how good the matches he was having. Like he was having matches against like Ricochet, who's a high flyer, Shinsuke Nakamura, who's strong style, against Braun Strowman, extremely underrated match by the way. Him versus Braun Strowman for an IC title, very good match. And it would always get reactions, and he's still getting reactions when he is able to have a good match, which is these days seems few and far between because of the way he's booked. But the way when he wrestles, people pay attention and people react because he's able to take you on that ride. He's able to tell that story with whoever his opponent is, whether it's a high flyer mid-carder or a main event heavyweight. So I think Gunther is a star. Like you said, he's a different type of star. He's not your Roman Reigns. He's not your CM Punk or your Cody Rhodes or even your Jey Uso. He's not. He said himself, he's not there to entertain. He's there to wrestle. He's there to wrestle, put on good matches, and that's the reaction he gets. Because when Gunther shows up, you know you're going to get a really good match or a very menacing promo, if we're being honest.
He's very flexible within his style to work with everyone. And he hasn't been presented at that upper echelon yet. And I'm curious, he kind of has a chance to be when they go with him too, if they really wanted to, but it's just not needed. They have Cody, they have Roman, they have Randy, they have all those mega stars. Him just as that baseline guy is kind of perfect and needed. So I'm curious. They could push him at that level if they wanted to.
Speaking of Gunther's babyface, y'all hear what the long-term plan for Gunther is? The plan is for him to the long-term plan for Gunther on the main roster is for him to be an honorable babyface. That is the long-term plan.
That's good. Yeah, that's perfect. That's work. Because look, this is what's going to happen. He's going to have and this is what needs to happen for that to happen. He needs to have a catalog like the IC title ring for years. He needs like years long, like few years of like really good matches, and like eventually he gets in a feud with like say Logan Paul, someone who doesn't respect the sport, or someone who he sees doesn't respect the sport. And he's like, look, for years, I've given y'all good matches. I respect this ring. I love this ring. I love what I do. And I think people will get behind him because, like, yeah, this guy's put on some of the best matches we've ever seen in the past few years. Let's cheer this guy. Let's destroy Logan Paul, chop him, powerbomb him, make him tap out, all that stuff. And I think he could be an honorable babyface because the way he could defend the ring being sacred, people will actually be behind him because it's not going to be a anti-entertainment, pro sports entertainment like his old gimmick was. It's going to be more, I respect what I do. Like, I love what I do. They love what I do. They respect what I do, but you don't respect what I do, or you don't respect it enough because you take shortcuts or because you're a celebrity or whatever, right? And I think people can get behind that, but I think they have to establish him as like that guy first. Like, he has to have that catalog first. That he needs to have like that IC title run again, but like do it over like the next like 2 years.
I think it's unfortunate that some people don't understand his criteria and gimmick. He's an old school type wrestler who is all about protecting the mat. The ring is sacred. You know what I mean? He wants to protect the sport that he honors. He doesn't want to be the flashiest wrestler. He doesn't want to be the most entertaining character. He wants to be a wrestler's wrestler. You know what I mean? The reason he's been champion like 80% of the time is in WWE because it fits the gimmick that he portrays. If you go back and look at what he's done from NXT UK to the main roster, even now, his presentation screams champion. That's what he's all about. That's what he represents. So him being the champion, it makes him not only feel like he's the best, but makes it feel like he's protecting the championship and the sport that he honors by bringing prestige to it. I feel like some people, when it comes to Gunther, they either find him boring or they find him to be really good. There's really no in between. Gunther is somebody that you're going to get a very good match out of. You're not going to get the most entertaining character. That's what you have other superstars there for that you can appeal to and gravitate towards too. When it comes to Gunther, though, he's all about bringing the old school style of what he presents back to this era of wrestling that you don't see too many people in this era have. Like, there's nobody in WWE that you can, conventionally point at that reminds you of Gunther. Gunther's his own entity. He stands out differently than, many other people.
No doubt.
All right, fellas, we're going to go ahead and sign off here, man. Thank you guys for coming through. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. We'll be back Sunday, usual time. It was Father's Day yesterday, so, we didn't do the podcast yesterday on Sunday like we used to do. But make sure you guys subscribe. We'll be back on Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit more about WWE, but dive in a little bit more into the TKO aspect. Do we feel TKO?
Hope you guys had a good Christian Cage day yesterday.
Yeah, Christian Cage, everybody's, glorious father nowadays. Ryan, appreciate you for coming through. Cam, thank you guys for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you guys for
Having me on.
shooting the stuff, man. So, make you guys subscribe.